Always.
I felt like, oh, wow, we do this.
Our introduction. I've asked a bunch of questions. That is awesome.
Jesus. All right. Well, welcome to the Wileyverse, everybody.
Welcome back.
Jesus. And it's because I switched to another scene. Another.
Let's start over.
Yeah.
What is this?
There's put together miniatures.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, welcome to the Wileyverse, everyone. You know that we played Warhammer Quest Cursed City here. We're going to start playing Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress.
I understand that came out first.
It came out before the Cursed City, and it's a different game. They've improved a lot in Cursed City, but it's still a good game, supposedly.
I'm just still laughing. That intro was so rich.
It was
so much good information.
Oh, man.
We were muted.
Yeah,
We talked about the original Warhammer Quest. We talked about how things in the future of Warhammer.
It was just gone. It was so organic too. It happened so
get it
naturally.
together.
After Jesus Christ.
So let's go off the last key point. Blackstone Fortress is the name of a type of space station.
Yeah.
Blackstone fortresses are a plural. There are at least 9 known of them. Several of them have been destroyed. They have gone all the way... Well, they are older than every race in the galaxy.
Oh.
They are of a technology that not even the Dark Eldar can touch.
Really?
They are so far more advanced than anything in our galaxy.
Are the Necrons aware of them? They're billions of years old.
Yeah, well, they're not. They're just as old as Eldar.
I thought they predated
Eldar.
Eldar.
They killed Eldar.
Also,
Eventually.
Since you're the only person here, Super Squad, I am also new to 40k and stuff. So if you have any questions, please.
So the Necrontyr were a shitty race that died at like 15 years old.
Yeah.
And then they met the old ones, and the old ones could go into the warp and all of them, and they had no connection to the warp.
Right.
And they basically said, help us, and
Yeah, because they're all like born with cancer.
Yeah,
and
the great old one said, lol, no.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, fuck you, there's these entities we found that eat suns, because we noticed that the sun around our planet was dying faster than it should be.
Yeah.
And we've spectrumed it. We figured out technology to look into another spectrum, and we found this creature eating our damn sun. And instead of stopping it, they said, can you help us?
Yeah.
And the entity went, sure. Put this on.
Yeah. Thank you. What was your name again? The Deceiver, huh? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the Deceiver. That should have been their first one. So to solve their problems, the Catan is what those godlike beings that eat suns are called.
Settlers.
Gave them metal skin. They're like, we can transfer your consciousness of your frail, shitty body into this metal skin exoskeleton, which remains like it heals itself, like it repairs itself. It cannot die.
Yeah, you'll be metal, but you'll live
And then there's a
forever.
whole bunch going, no, we should probably not do this. I mean, yeah, flesh is weak, but that seems bad.
Yeah.
And then all the rest went, lol, no.
Yeah.
They just did it.
It was all their dynasty councils. There was only one. There's only one. The Oracle guy who's like, we cannot make this deal, and everyone's lol. No, we're doing it. Yeah.
No.
That would have been me. I would have been first in line. I'd be like, I want to be a robot.
Yeah.
Can I still masturbate? No. We shouldn't do this, guys.
So, bam. They get inside the metal bodies, and the Catan are like, ha, now we control you. Dance, puppets, dance. Also, every time they die, and the longer they live, both conditions, they lose their memories. Like, so only the strongest, most important ones have things to retain their memories. Their soldiers are just mindless zombies now.
Spoiler alert, that's kind of some of the basis for the Eternals, too, was that the longer they were, the more their memories got compounded, and they didn't realize some of them didn't even know how many times they had done this.
So even them are younger than these Blackstone fortresses. Wow.
And I don't know, because they retconned a lot of the Necrons' lore, I don't know what their interactions are now with the Blackstone fortresses. Like, it could be now that they just wrote in the new Necron Codex,
Yeah.
The Necrons are waking up and they go, "Oh, you found our ships," that kind of thing. But none of their ships, which are still around inside their planets,
right? Because they went to
do this.
Because they went to sleep basically after this thing happened. They captured their masters and stuff like that. They went to sleep for 80 billion years.
Interesting. You said something that caught my attention too. You said that when the Emperor was still like a physical person, that these things were already around.
Yeah. I mean, so what I'm trying to say now is even like before the Eldar, before the Necrons, these things were built probably, most people think, by the Great Old Ones. No. But it could be even older than that.
Right.
And they've just been, they're scattered around our galaxy. Several of them just left, and they're still doing their thing. They're completely operational.
So this is like Mass Effect, where we just found the Mass Effect accelerators like out by Pluto. Cool, interesting. I like that.
So, during the Horus Heresy, Horus.
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 There's some mean horses, man.
I know. I was like, that can't be right. I couldn't get Horus out of that. I was like, Jesus.
Horus Heresy. 3 of them were in the fight apparently, and wreaked a lot of destruction. In the 13th Black Crusade, there was 3 of them. In the Fall of Cadia, there was 1. And this one is behind the Eye of Terror. So the Eye of Terror is here. Terra is like here.
Yeah.
This one's over like way off in the.
This particular one.
So it's behind the Eye of Terror in relation to what?
To Terra.
To Terra. Gotcha. So here's Terra. Here's the Eye of Terror, and then there's.
Yeah. If you look at the spiral arms of our galaxy, Terra is somewhere over here. The Eye of Terror is like here. This is the biggest thing. It's the Segmentum Pacificus thing. And this is the Segmentum Obscurus, because the Eye of Terror is there and blocks a whole bunch of things.
I always love when...
So it's out over there.
When games get the science right, too.
No,
but then you said something earlier, too.
Ultimus, or whatever. Pacificus is like in the north.
Well, you were saying...
Yeah, where the Tau are.
The Tau are in the Ultramarines.
Earlier you were saying that they had found a new spectrum to take care of...
to look at the Catan.
And that's real, because the spectral photography is how we find out the intensity and age of stars. And I was like, that's great, the science is really in here. Maybe we will be robots soon.
But yeah, the Ultramarines are fighting the Tau.
He's hoping.
That's why that's why in every picture that you ever see of Tau negotiating with
it's always with Ultramarines?
It's always with Ultramarines. You can see their fanned, Centurion helmets. And it's like, it makes sense because they're probably the only Marine chapter that actually would talk to Tau.
Right. All the other ones like, Xenos!
Die!
Yeah. Oh, blood angels.
So, Blackstone fortresses are self-sufficient, super powerful. I can't remember what they said about their main gun, but it coexists. It basically splits the warp. It makes the warp and real space coexist in the same zone. Like it just sends down a beam and it says, "Now these are both." And whatever it hits, like, annihilates.
It's like positive negative space. Cease to exist. Technically, that's crazy.
One of them can destroy planets. In the 13th Black Crusade, when Abaddon got control of all 3 of them, he was able to take out suns. He would point them at suns and destroy whole systems.
So these fortresses are mobile.
Yeah. So in the end of the Fall of Cadia, the big the Imperial Fists space station. The Imperial Fist space station. No, their space station, the one that was over Terra. They took it.
That one.
They took it to Cadia to go stop Abaddon.
I'm actually a part of the Imperial Fist.
Right.
It's the Vader's Fist is the 501st Legion. Yeah. They're the Imperial Fist.
The Imperial Fists are like the stalwart defender chapter, and they have a space station over Terra to protect humanity. Like they're the last line of defense of Earth.
And they have a Blackstone fortress.
No, they have a massive space station as that's their chapter home. And they moved it to go try to defend Cadia. And they crippled, they boarded, they sent out battle barges and boarded the Blackstone Fortress and disabled its main cannon.
So then I have another question then. Do they take these fortresses through the warp to move them?
No, I don't know.
Because it would take it, so are they capable of
faster
than light travel?
They are.
Okay.
They may use their own technology.
So then my other question would be then, just because I have very limited 40k knowledge, I know big tooths. That's the orc ships. Those massive ones, right?
The cruises.
Cruises.
Yeah.
You guys call them those big
No,
jaws.
no. the
the
really big teeth is their Geller fields.
Oh, sorry. So
Which
what
helps
are the
them
big
travel to the warp.
cruises?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about the Imperial ones, the real big giant Imperial ships. What is the size comparison to this? Do those dock there?
Yeah. Those, like,
Yeah.
if a Blackstone Fortress is this, like, ships are like this.
Oh,
This
is a big.
It is considered a planetoid.
Like the miniatures for these ships are like that big. The miniatures
Yeah,
are
yeah.
stupid.
But so I always thought they were associated with chaos, not just because of the thing with Cadia, but like
They have 8 points.
yeah, they look like chaos stars.
Like, why is that?
Huh?
And,
Well, I mean,
and they're so old.
But Abaddon's guys have Chaos Star on theirs, and aren't
Right.
they Imperial Regiment?
No.
Abaddon is not Imperial.
No, he's a Chaos Space
Oh,
Marine.
okay.
So-
I had a little disconnect
Yeah, yeah.
there on
So
those
I guess at
nuances.
one point,
Was
They
it-
were the
aren't
Luna
all-
Wolves.
Aren't all
Yeah.
Chaos Space Marines originally?
Yeah, they were originally Imperial, but their symbol was a wolf.
Gotcha.
Before.
Do the Chaos Space Marines make their own Space Marines, or do they have to take the bodies of dead Space
Now,
Marines?
so it depends on who you ask and what lore you get into.
Or do the Space Marines fall to Chaos?
So they corrupt chaos. They corrupt new Marines,
Gotcha.
and chapters do fall. Secondly, because they live in the warp a lot and they don't need Geller fields, some of the Marines that are in Chaos Legions are 10,000 years old
How do the Chaos Space Marines just survive in open war?
because they are beholden to chaos and chaos protects them. The whole thing about going into the warp is that demons will just tear you apart.
Yeah,
But
that's what
if
need
you
the
have
Geller
a-
fields
if-
for,
yeah,
right?
if you have a-
gotcha.
If you have a
Really big
daemon, if you have a daemon prince on your ship or on your planet, vouching for you, then you can just be fine in the warp.
Interesting. I did not know that. I
Yeah.
knew the warp was to be feared. I didn't realize you could just go in. I mean, the reasoning is bad. You don't want to be Chaos Marines, but also, I just have to say, they really missed their chance to call this the Black Ground.
oh, so true.
Okay, so back to
Games Workshop
their
on-
gun and their
Work on
and
Retainer.
how and their size. So, the Imperial Fist boarded the Blackstone Fortress that was at the fall of Cadia. They disabled the gun because he was about to destroy Cadia.
So these Blackstone fortresses have one big gun.
They have that one big. They also have other defenses.
Well, of course, but they have one big gun
that destroys
That's
planets.
the warp.
Yeah, it's the Death Star cannon.
So they disabled it. So instead of just failing, Abaddon ordered the Blackstone Fortress to ram the planet.
Yeah.
So that is
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Did you post that in Discord? Ah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
And it
that
worked.
is and it kind of worked. I mean, the planet was irrecoverable at that point, but then there was still fighting and still defense down in the core by the old Necron obelisk down there.
That's 40K. Let's fight over this shitty rock until there's no more rock left. Then move to the next shitty rock and fight over that
The
rock.
planet fell before the guard.
Yeah, that's the saying.
That's the saying. Yeah.
I'm an Imperial guard.
And there are actually there are Imperial guardsmen that were at the fall of Cadia fighting Abaddon that are still alive. They survived that fight.
Huh.
Because what's his face, Trazyn.
Yeah, the Necron collector.
got them all out.
Yeah.
I swear every sci-fi anything always has a fucking collector.
Yeah.
Mass Effect had a collector.
Yeah, Marvel
fucking
Universe
Marvel's
has
got
a
a collector.
Oh, yeah.
40K's
You think there's some
got
kind
a
of like
collector.
psychological self-insert in some kind of way.
It's all those biblical things that people take. There's always, it's the Hero's Journey book,
Yeah.
or Hero of a Thousand Faces and the Hero's Journey and stuff like that.
Heroes.
Every religion, there is something that happens, and then the person that you worship or whatever does something that's not doable by you. Does some sort of insurmountable thing that becomes a miracle, like rising from the dead or feeding everybody or doing that. And in every religion, you find this same hero's journey. You'll find it in Lord of the Rings. You find it in Mass Effect. You find it in everything. And it's kind of the ubiquitous. Something goes wrong, I tackle it, I gain knowledge, I fail, I come back stronger, I win.
I'm surprised you don't know the hero's journey. Like that is.
I have Hero.
You'd be amazed what I don't know.
I am every time it comes up. The hero's journey, like it is literally a circle, and it just
like 10
this
parts.
is going to happen, and this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and you can look at any movie you love, any you can go Star Wars. Okay, there's this, there's here, there's this, like. And a lot of them just use that now. Like that is they put that down. They write their plot line points, and then they fill out their
Luke is alone.
Huh.
He gets help from friends, robots. He meets the Wanderer, Jesus, or Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And then from there, he learns lessons.
Yep.
He takes on the enemy.
DBZ.
He fails. He reflects, studies, asks for help, succeeds. We worship him. So
That's interesting.
Luke
Because
Skywalker,
from
Goku's the same way, yeah. And so it's not just the stories you love and stuff too, but you can read the Bible, the Quran. You can read everything. Every religion has a hero's journey as their main tenet. It's
very
very
makes
strange.
it funnier that we had that meme where like people see pictures of like your grandma sees a picture of Obi-Wan from the prequels and think it's Jesus.
So, the Blackstone Fortress. As vast and dark as a sunless planetoid, the Blackstone Fortress is a creation far beyond the technological ken of any race in the galaxy. Who built this colossal craft and for what purpose are questions that many wish to answer. For even in its current state of torpor, the Blackstone Fortress is possessed of immense power. Yet this mysterious structure is not unique. As of this writing, 6 others like it have been found in the Imperium many centuries ago.
Now the total is 13 or 12? 9. Okay.
And the destruction they wrought helped to tear the galaxy in half. The earliest imperial records of the Blackstone fortresses date back to the 2nd millennium of the Emperor's rule. Extensive analysis and attempts to activate the dormant stations proved fruitless, though each generated more than enough power for them to be fitted by the Adeptus Mechanicus with defense turrets and primary weapon systems. Soon the Blackstone fortresses boasted military capabilities that rivaled the greatest command stations in the Imperial Navy, but the untapped potential of the Blackstone Fortress would prove the undoing of their controllers. So, like, they found these, and they couldn't get them to work. But they could tap into the power supplies.
Right.
So they just put their own guns and equipment in there. And this is, like, the problem is, for whatever reason, and probably tied to what their shape, when Chaos came along, they just activated them.
Oh, wow.
Like, they knew how to turn them on.
Well, I would be
get their
curious.
motors
Bad guys
running,
always get such an edge, man. It's not
I got a
fair.
Cobra tattoo. G.I. Joe had an M1 Abrams tank. Meanwhile, Cobra has a fucking submarine that launches hang gliders that drop bombs. That's way fucking better. Yeah, bad guys are always better.
Around 143, Millennium 41, the Chaos fleets of Abaddon the Despoiler flooded into the Gothic sector, marking the beginning of the 12th Black Crusade. Maybe that's the book I have, is the 12th Black Crusade. Because it is about the Gothic sector, and there's a game called Battlefleet Gothic, which is the space fighting. They do have the Blackstone miniature for that, but it's not the scale.
I've seen it, yeah.
I do like the idea of a D-spoiler as like a bad guy, where like he sees you as spoiled.
Yeah,
he's gonna corrupt you into the despoiled version of yourself.
Is that what that means?
It's unspoiling. Despoil.
All 6 Blackstone fortresses served as fortified naval bases in the Imperium's defense of the sector, taking up blockading positions above vital worlds and outposts.
I guess defile would be making a mess of something.
I am wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, right?
Despoil is not right. It's steal or violently remove valuable or attractive possessions from. Another word for it is plunder. So I am wrong. Yeah,
the despoiler.
I thought spoil was like, despoil would be like to bring you back into perfection. No. Like the actual literal meaning.
No, that's what the Tyranids do.
It's like inflammable means flammable.
Yeah.
Latin again.
Yeah. So, taking up blockading positions above vital worlds and outposts. It was at Rebo 5 that an enormous armada of Chaos ships broke through the Imperial lines to lay direct siege to one of the Blackstone fortresses. As the invading fleet drew within range, the Blackstone fortress's power systems shut down completely, rendering it defenseless against the invasion. So, and then it goes on. Over the course of the war, 2 more fortresses were captured. All of this fighting over the fortresses.
There it is right there. Spoils of war, obviously. But to get them, you must despoil. You despoil and receive the spoils.
Nah.
Yeah, the spoils of war are all the money and attractive
the plunder.
stuff. The plunder.
Yeah.
Despoil means to violently take the plunder. So to get the spoils of war, you must despoil
like
the populace.
to delouse something is to take the louse out. You're taking the spoils out.
That makes more sense now. Yeah, you despoil by taking the spoils.
Because delousing is like you butting heads with someone going, "Give me your lice."
Yeah. That's how the chaos would do it anyway.
So my Latin is technically correct. You are unspoiling, but you are taking the spoils.
Well, all right.
Despoiling. So interesting. Yeah, it's fun. You already had your spoils. I despoiled you.
Yeah.
So the next thing we should talk about is how we go about going in this, because this thing is out on the edge of space, and there's a space station that has been built nearby called the Precipice, and it's a jumping off point for anyone that's trying to get into this place, because lots of people are trying to go in here and figure it out and get treasure and archaeotech and all that kind of stuff. So our ragtag group is one of those. We're going to go in here and try to get something out of it. The end-all goal of the original one, I don't remember what this first one adventure is called, but we find out that there is a vault. No one knows what's in it, but there is a Chaos Space Marine Lord who is also on the Blackstone Fortress trying to find that vault.
Well, we gotta get that vault first.
Yeah.
I would really be curious to hear what, the Adeptus Mechanicus went in here to try to fix stuff up, right?
Not in this one.
Not in this one, but they would have hooked themselves up to the computer systems. I wonder what they heard.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't.
Insane, yeah.
They probably said, let's not do that anymore.
What does it say? It's all racist slurs. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
racist slurs. We're not going to hook up to that anymore.
That's a very old ship, you know?
He doesn't know any better. It's how his daddy raised him, you know?
It's how the galaxy was back then.
Yeah.
That's...
Oh,
God.
So, what we do when we go into the thing is our first day, like, let's say we're going to be our first adventure. We're all a group, we pick our characters, and we buy, steal, swindle, or get codes. We have our first set of codes, and we go into one of the entry points, which is a grav lift. We all climb into the grav lift, and there's a panel, and we punch in one of those codes and hope it works. And then that grav lift is just going to take us somewhere in the Blackstone Fortress.
So we're going to start already on the fortress. We don't have to leave. What did you say? Precipice.
We start at the precipice.
And precipice, of course, is the thing you do before you precipice something.
Before you fall off.
Yeah.
Before you fall.
Welcome to the Bodyverse, where we go over grammar and definitions of words.
Grammar, Mario.
Come in for any LA lesson.
So we punch in a code, and we see where it takes us. And when the maglev gets to where it's supposed to go, it stops and powers down for an indeterminate amount of time. So once we punch in a code, it's going to drop us somewhere, and we can't use it again. Like it could be minutes, and it could come back up, and we'll be very lucky. But it could be weeks before that maglev turns back on. So generally, we just have to get out and hope we find another maglev and survive wherever they put us. And that is the flow of an expedition. So an expedition is, we get into the lift, we punch in our code, and we see where it takes us and deal with whatever that is. When we deal with whatever that is...
Session 1 is called It's Not My Vault.
It's Not My Vault. When we deal with whatever that is...
Stop, we're trying to talk.
We find another maglev, hopefully, and we punch in another code. And what we're trying to find while we're there are more codes to go on more adventures, expeditions, and clues as to where the vault is.
Right.
And the clues are going to lead us to, I think it's 4 fortresses. 4 areas in the Blackstone Fortress, not fortresses, strongholds. 4 strongholds that we need to conquer and activate before we can get into the vault.
I see. So
that's the progression of play.
It'd be like the equivalent of the little lords we have to decapitate in the Cursed City.
Very much so. So in this game, we say, like, this is the maglev, we put it down, we put our characters on there, and then we have a deck. That's our expedition deck. And the deck either has a challenge, like, you know what challenges were when we looked up the things in the book and read.
Oh, yes.
Choose your own adventure.
Right, yeah.
The deck has challenges and combat encounters. And we punch in the code, which is drawing a card from that deck. If it's a challenge, the door opens up and we read whatever that thing is, and we have to deal with whatever that thing is as a group.
Oh, cool.
It's not like we're on the board in the city and one of us gets pulled away.
Right.
We all have to figure out this challenge before we move on.
I like
Elevator from hell, man.
And if it opens up to a combat encounter, that combat encounter card is going to have a map. And we then lay out the combat map in front of us and put down the enemies, and we have to fight through the enemies, pick up any tech or clues that are on that map, and get to the maglev exit before we die.
Okay.
Before we get overwhelmed and all that jazz.
We played this once, and I think Galen died. Yeah,
his character died. So the whole thing is like that combat encounter that we set up a map for and all that stuff. And the challenges, those are just one card.
Yeah.
And every expedition is supposed to have 8 cards, which you randomize of 4 challenges and 4 combat encounters.
I see.
And you can, once you get into a maglev...
So that was just one encounter of 4?
Yeah.
In the one mission?
In the one mission. So you will,
wow.
if you do an entire expedition, you will go through 4, set up the entire maps, and fight a combat.
Maglev's at 7.
That one's loose.
Yeah, so we'll have 4 fights. They're smaller than Cursed Cities, but they're still in depth. And that is one of the things I've seen online, because you can leave at any time. You can say, like, once you get into the lift, you can just say, no, we're punching the code to go back.
Oh.
You don't have to draw another card, and you can stop the adventure.
I see, okay.
There's some of the feedback.
There's no reason to get out of the elevator sometimes. But,
nah.
Some of the feedback of this is when you have if you're a group like mine and you have the 8 cards, you feel like you have to tough it out and all that stuff, but it can make the game very long. So it's like if you're doing this in shorter sessions and all that stuff, just make the deck smaller. Make it 6 cards. Make it 4 cards.
Sure.
Don't do 4 combat encounters and 4 challenges every time.
I want to go home.
Right. Like, no, Galen. Stay. I gotta go to sleep.
No, I have to leave by 8. Okay, cool. It is 6:45. So what are we gonna do?
Yeah. This is...
Oh man.
And these were all snap fit models. Ooh. None of them required glue, just like the Cursed City ones, but those required glue.
What the
There's
heck?
always something to be said for 40.
That you found the Chaos Lord
there's
immediately.
Always something to be said for 40k models. I
don't have the autofocus on.
Oh, sorry. I'll just back it up.
Like it won't focus.
Oh,
it's focusing out here.
Sorry.
So let me.
Well, don't adjust anything. I just wanted you to see that the model is fairly large for a miniature. It's nice and big. It's 3-dimensional. It's all snapped together. He's got equipment and flags.
No glue, huh?
No glue. Wow. These are 40k miniatures. Is my first real miniatures games that we've been playing and stuff. And man, they come out good. Sorry about that, GT. So these are what we've been painting for our Blood Bowl games and stuff. These 40k minis and stuff. God, these are detailed.
That's what she said.
This is one of the. So the characters are in. The characters are in red. This is one of the playable characters.
Glario here.
Yep, Janus.
Janus.
Oh my God, there's a priest.
Yep, there's a priest and the fanatic.
I was saying he looks pretty crazy. One of the guys is a fanatic with a flamethrower. We got a fat pope here.
Fat pope.
Big covered in flags, yes. If you don't know anything about 40k, there are prayers like crazy glued to everybody's everything if you are Imperium of Man.
We've got an Eldar Ranger here, huh?
Eldar Ranger, the Kroot. That's the Kroot.
That's your dude, right?
That was Galen died.
He
died like a...
There's some real small little guys.
That's the Rattling Twins.
Yeah, you play them as one character.
And that's the Navigator.
I have a fascination with anything called Navigator because of Dune.
And they are very much akin to that. They are mutants that have a third eye in their head that allows them to see into the warp without going insane.
The Villeneuve Navigators were perfect, and they don't even get any words. They have almost no screen time. They show up with the Emperor's Herald in the first 20 minutes of the movie, and they're the guys in the white spacesuits with the orangish masks.
Yeah.
Because the Spacing Guild navigators were force-fed, injected, lived in the spice clouds. That's why in the sci-fi movie, they're super mutated. They're in a tank full of spice.
It's like the big fish.
And they point at the 2 stars. They're making the map. Their minds have expanded so far they can actually visualize the galaxy.
Yeah.
And then they will put the 2 places where you're going and where you're coming from and find a spot and send the ship that way. That's what they're doing. So in the Villeneuve version, they're in this clouded spacesuit, which makes way more sense because it shows their humanity and that they're living in the spice cloud and breathing it and eating it. It's just awesome. So I have this love of anybody call it Navigator. I'm like, oh, Navigator.
Janice Drake is the rogue trader dude.
Rogue trader.
Bro trader.
Bro trader.
That's pretty much the ogre. Like he's just like the.
Where's the rogue trader?
Oh, it is Gloria.
Yeah, it's pretty much Gloria.
This is who I played last time.
He's got a fucking
the 30K robot.
And that is
just like this model.
Yeah, it looks like he's got he's just smoking a pipe.
He's smoking a pipe. He's got a sword at his whole height.
UR025 25.
Yeah.
Janice Drake is the rogue trader. He's really cool. Espern Locarno is the navigator. Thaddeus the Purifier is the Ministoran priest.
Oh.
Right?
Like the guy with the flame would be the Purifier.
And Pius Vorn is the missionary zealot.
This guy looks like Gloria's pissed off uncle.
Yeah.
This guy looks way more vicious than Gloria.
And then Rhine and Rouse are the 2 rattling twins.
What the fuck is this?
That's an Eldar Ranger.
That is
Bezos. Wow. Yeah.
Amelin Shadow Guide. That's the version of what it is. And then,
sorry, we're at the miniature part of the evening where I have to touch everything. So sorry. About that.
And Dalyak Grek is the Kroot tracker, and she's the Asheriani Ranger.
Just noticed the flamer has I thought it was a barrel, but it's a chainsaw attached underneath the flamer.
It's an eviscerator. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, eviscerator.
GT says, last read through of the book, the FTL drive was more technological. The problem is that human reaction times weren't sufficient to avoid hazards.
Yeah.
So navigators cultivated precognition to allow them to dodge things in FTL.
Cool.
Interesting. I missed that. That's cool.
So,
I read the book 3 or 4 times back when I was in high school, but only the movies are what I have to go on now, so that's really good. I like that. Thank you.
The big thing about the whole Dune universe is because they, have no thinking machines, they have no computers, so they had to make people.
Mentats.
Yeah, that's like the Mentats, the Navigators. The Navigators do faster than light corrections. The Mentats do all the calculations.
Oh wow!
All of them are. There's a human for every computer job in Dune.
And that's why I really liked Villeneuve, because in the original movie and the sci-fi adaptation, which is wonderful by the way, the sci-fi adaptation is great, but they make the Mentats do some calculations and they roll their eyes back. It's great. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is it the card?
This is the vault.
So is it yet to be opened?
These games, all of these Warhammer Quest games, this is your reward for beating it. It's sealed. You can't open it. We don't know what it says. Cursed City, we found out one of the twins ran off or something like that, and we had killed one guy, but it turned out there was power somewhere else. After we killed him, powers were somewhere else.
Well, he became like a Vargas gear, basically.
Oh, that's right. He became an undead, super powerful. Yeah,
and then that became a model in actual.
So our reward for beating Cursed City was
unleashing
more terror.
Yeah, making a worse thing. So here's their initiative track. Right?
I love these things. Man.
So you have the 1 through 8, and here's your encounter cards, right? But I thought this was so cool about this. You see the lines?
Oh.
This is where the encounter deck goes. Here on the long side, this, and the small initiative cards go on this little small side.
I like it. So you have the 2 decks laid out every time.
Yeah, so you have them laid out right next to it. So this is the initiative track.
So this is something
you put encounters cards up on here to tell you which of the initiative cards are which monster groups.
Now, I'm newer to like RPGs and stuff, but I played a hell of a lot of board games, and this is the first time the Warhammer games, the Warhammer Quests, sorry, are the only time I've ever seen an initiative tracker like this. So we put our cards underneath that shows what order all the enemies and all of us are going together, and then up here are the actual like things we must do.
The people we're fighting.
And so at the end of this T-bar is where the 2 decks would go, and you can see exactly where they feed in. It's just little stuff like this is what makes these Warhammer Quest games really fun.
Now the maps are much different. They're what these call these tiles, and they're all different shapes, but they're all hexes. So it's not squares like the other game, and hexes can contain multiple miniatures. So when something charges us,
they're moving into your
they
space.
try to get into your space.
And the artwork on this stuff is just incomparable. It's all so beautiful.
And then there's other things on these, like these white thick lines. That's cover. So if you are standing in one of these hexes and someone is shooting you, you actually take a line of sight thing, that's this thing right here, and you trace it, and if it crosses over any of the white areas, then you have cover. One of the feedbacks from most people is that you will forget about these little white lines all the time and not give yourself cover. So I think I have them, but we should get
little like standing little
covers, right? And any tile that has cover on it, you put it down.
Oh, you know what we have?
So that you know that that tile has cover.
We have about 30 of those from the Kill Team games.
Yeah,
that's true.
There's a whole. It's more like 15 or 20. But there's still a lot in there.
So we just put that on the tile to just say, "Hey, this tile has cover. Don't forget it."
Yeah, I do remember that part. So the AI and thinking machines subjugated humankind, so we had to eliminate them.
Yeah, that's what. That's 40K took that too. Like the thinking machines, the logic
like
engines,
this guy,
like him. The
plus Dune takes place in the year 10191. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't remember what the year was until I rewatched the Dune movie. It was like, oh, I just love little stuff like that.
Here's the leader token.
Ooh.
You have the tracker.
Yeah.
Telling you where to go. Ooh.
So in Warhammer Quest games, somebody every turn is in charge, like the leader, and that person makes certain decisions, or when it says the leader chooses, or this happens to the leader, it changes every turn. That way you can kind of all take turns, doing something important or making the final word or decision.
So this is a chaos psyker.
Yeah.
What I think is really cool about them is that they're so filled with power.
Yeah, he's using weights to anchor him down.
He has weights tied to him to keep him on the ground.
Oh, because he would like
because he's
float.
floating.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And this is
I wish you guys could see these a little better. So he's floating and he's tied down by chains and stuff. Yeah, it's so cool.
Who's on point?
I don't know if you saw that. The
yeah.
40K Beastman.
I saw one of, not this one, there was another one in there. Did you find a bug?
No, I found a piece of glass.
Ooh.
Wow.
The chair still though.
Here are their little gates. Like the reinforcements come in on.
Yeah, this is a space. Oh, he's a Chaos Space Marine. Never mind.
Yeah.
See his horns. Yep.
Hence this. The Emperor's Angels are coming. Yay!
Oh no!
They're the spiky ones.
Oh. I get it. I've seen that meme.
So this is the Precipice board. So this is kind of like the day-night board thing.
Oh, right.
So you'd have, this is where you put the Destiny dice. Green is for usable, red is used or not usable. Your encounter cards go here, and discovery cards go here. But we all have ships. Each of us has a ship.
Score.
Okay? And for the 4-player game, we're going to, some people use the same ship. Some people are flying in the same ship.
Oh, but probably the priest and the fanatic.
Yeah.
We'll dock all of the ships.
So we dock all of the ships, and they have two sides. One is the support side, and when we are at Precipice doing our in-between mission stuff, we can use the rules that they give us. When we are on our expedition, the ships have things that they can help us do during the expedition.
That's
so we can use each
facilities.
Yeah, facilities. We can use each of our This is facility is facility is for when we're at the press. Support is when we're on the expedition.
Gotcha.
Right.
So I can call my ship and be like, hey, we need support in computer or something or other, or I can say, hey, make cover fire on Sector 3.
For example, the Vanguard, which I believe is Janice's ship, has a tactics attaché. Once per expedition, an explorer can take the tactics attaché action during their activation, which is a 1+. If the explorer is Janice Drake, and a cost of 6+, 1+ if it's Janice, and 6+ for anyone else.
Okay.
If the action is taken, pick a hostile group. For the rest of that turn, reroll failed attack rolls against that
Sweet.
group.
Nice.
So basically, we've phoned in this tactics person.
Yeah, we're like, shoot him in the face.
So everyone has this, and we can,
scan of
like,
deck
this is
7.
our...
Like, there's 6 enemies, and 3 of them are weak to fire, that kind of shit.
And then, like, Krav Chateau.
What's upstairs?
Krav Chateau is the Kroot's ship.
Ah, cool.
Target Illuminator, once per expedition. The action allows the explorer to take a weapon action without spending an activation.
Ooh, free
Any
shot.
attack rolls for that weapon action are automatically a critical success.
Ooh.
So it just allows you to...
And Miley was saying something here that I think is interesting about this game, where we roll a set of dice at the beginning of the turn, and for that entire round, in other words, all 4 of us go, we have a pool of dice that we can choose from. If they're doubles, they get knocked out. If they're just singles, they get to stay in here. And we can use that dice space to support our own rolls or go for another try at something, stuff like that. But just like the leadership, we have to share it. We have to do everything together. So we end up, a lot of our long conversations end up being like, okay, listen, we have these 3 dice. You do that. I'm going to do this.
Right.
Steal those, and we have that to work with.
I kind of like that aspect of the game.
It forces collaboration.
Yeah.
It becomes a co-op game because you can't make the decisions by yourself. Because you're a leader next time and he's leader this time, that kind of shit.
I'm hoping, and I know there's going to be things that are not that they've since worked on for Cursed City that they haven't figured out in this edition. But I'm hoping that this is going to be a lot less solved than Cursed City was. I feel like we kind of always knew what the obvious moves we needed to make.
Once we got the meta down, we're like, we just do this and this and this.
Yeah.
If you watch any of our Cursed City, we got progressively better at it. To when we were at the last game, we're just like, okay, we're all going to do these things, and then we would just play them out. We would basically narrate the story before we rolled any dice.
I think Quest has always had that.
Yeah.
Even in the old Warhammer Quest. Once we knew our roles and how things spawned and got put on the table, we'd go, okay, standard, we'd find a room, 4x4 room, standard room playing formation, yep, and one person would just move us all into our positions. The pit fighter got into the corner alone, everyone, the wizard got in the corner with the elf in front of them and all that kind of stuff. We'd position ourselves and the things would spawn, and then the pit fighter would kill everything in the room. And
it got to the point where I think we were letting Galen do it mostly, because we're like, fine, Galen, where do you want the elf to stand? And we'll just put everything around you.
That's so fast.
But it still,
I'm sure she's the same way
took
here.
us down. They still think. What I do want to talk about, before, this is a character card, has an inspired side and a non-inspired side.
Teamwork.
This, the inspired, to go directly to inspired, they have a secret action, a secret...
a secret objective?
Objective. So, you can get inspiration, and if you get 3, you can spend it to go inspired. Or, if you get your secret mission done, you auto flip.
Well, that might help with what I was just saying, that how can it be solved if if you're I think I might want to see if I could pull this off instead of do the usual.
Yeah.
But as I was telling you, this game is way more brutal because and we might want to switch it to Cursed City rules.
Oh,
we'll
really?
see how it is, but
I do remember it was rough. I was this guy, and I was just having so much fun just spraying bullets on everything.
For this, you roll 4 dice, and those are your action dice. You have 4 little slots on here, and you can spin those dice to take actions, attack, things like that. Certain actions require a certain value on the die you rolled. every time you take a wound, you put it on the spot, and it takes up one of your action dice. You basically lose that action die. In Curse City, you had 2 stages of wounds, so each of these boxes was essentially could hold 2 wounds.
Yeah.
So if you got hit and it did 1 damage to you, that's the difference. Now I understand. You would take damage and you would start allocating them to, but if you took like 1 damage, you put a thing down, and if later on you took another damage, you'd flip it over to the critical
the extra
side,
ouchy side,
right?
yeah.
And you would do that for each one. So if you took 3, it would go bink, bink, the next one would fill in. So this one, I understand now, there's no damage.
Oh, it's just...
There's not a damage value. If you get a success, it's a wound. If you get a critical success, it's a critical wound.
Right.
So,
and
I think, I haven't looked at enemies yet.
I believe you said that critical wounds, you can't heal those during the mission.
At all. Yeah. So there is no damage values on weapons. Because this game only ever does...
Because it's 40K. If you get hit by any weapon in this era, you're it's gonna do damage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's that like you could give a damage value of 3 or 4 in the fantasy one, and this one, you could get shot by a plasma gun, and maybe they have special rules for guns like that, but it only ever does 1 damage.
I see.
But that damage is either a regular wound or a critical wound.
Okay.
If you take a critical wound and you do not soak it, that stays with you for the rest of the expedition. You cannot get rid of it. You can spin dice to make a recovery roll, just like in Curse City. You also, once we get back in the maglev, get 1 recovery roll before we have to draw a card or leave.
Is it a Tyrion?
Nope, that is a spindle drone. That is one of the natives of the Black Fortress.
Oh.
These drones come out and try to stop you. The cool thing about them, or sucky thing, is the more damage you do to them, the more you attack them, they have alert phases.
Oh.
And their alert phases go up, so if you start attacking them, the rest of them get more dangerous.
Oh, God.
So one of the suggestions is...
Save that.
Yeah, kill them all or save them for later. And you like they have this 4-stage alert. And they get stronger and stronger the higher they go up the alert.
That's
values.
terrible.
So these less than Space Marine bad guys, what are these guys?
Those are Trader Guardsmen.
Trader Guardsmen. I fucking knew it, you assholes.
Yeah, like Steep.
Hey,
Oh.
he didn't do anything wrong.
I mean,
No,
he was a poxwalker at the end.
Yeah, he was definitely turned into it.
What that guy got corrupted so poorly. Like he was the purest out of all you guys.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes.
Welcome to 40K.
Yeah.
He was more pure than even meat was.
So,
Corruption's not a choice; it just happens to you.
is there a ripple in there, or is that all?
I just brought 3. I'm sorry.
Can I get one of the waters? Actually, it's a lovely story, and we've probably not discussed it.
One of the green ones.
Yeah, one of the green ones.
I don't have to have a Red Bull if you guys want that.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
So a great story is that me off stream to introduce Mitch in a more immersive way to Warhammer 40K. Galen, I, and Mitch decided to run a 40K game.
And I think it was my idea. I was like, I don't know anything about this, and you guys suggested that. Sorry, I wanted to know more, and you guys suggested that we play something.
So he made a Imperial Guardsman, basically someone just from
It's a hive world.
a hive world, and just an idiot. The hive he was an underhiver. He barely spoke the language. It was bad. And Galen ran a commissar. And they were put on a world where orcs were attacking them. And it's one of my favorite first scenes.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
It's trench warfare, so you have the front line trench, and then you have the reserve trench, and then you have the recovery trench. So, and the platoon is divided up in 3 teams, and you cycle through every day. The team in front goes back to recovery, the reserve team goes up, the recovery team goes in reserves. And that's how he does it. And so his first day in the trenches the whistles blow and enemies are charging.
The horde.
There's a horde, and I'm like, yeah, they're like, this is your first time ever seeing orcs, and I'm like, here's your primer, because he had the infantryman's primer, and he flipped to the orcs page.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen the infantryman's primer as orcs, but they make them look tiny. Tiny, smaller than a man.
It says that they're weak.
Yeah.
They're pathetic, nothing to worry about.
So he looks out and he sees all these little green
shits.
guys coming.
Yeah.
Like they're shooting in the air. They're idiots. And he just like launching his grenades, killing them. A couple like get into the thing.
I was yelling at the more experienced veterans to get back up and help me.
And he was killing them and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, like they repelled the first wave. He's like, yep. He's like, okay, well, back to recovery the next day. And he's sitting there sleeping.
Well, I was mad about we're going to recovery. I'm like, I'm not done. And you're like, the commissar's like, get your ass in recovery.
So they're in recovery, the recovery line, 2 lines back the next day. And they hear the whistle blow. They know that they're being assaulted. They can hear the guns and all this stuff. And it gets worse. There's more screaming. There's more explosions. There's more of this and that. Then all of a sudden, they start to hear it in the next line, the reserve line. They start to hear commotion. And that's when, like, he's sitting there and a guardsman is just running, missing an arm. Like, oh, God! They're killing us all! And he's like, what? They're like this big. Like, how can they even... He was fighting Gretchen the day before, goblins. And now the orcs were hitting the line. Yeah. And they got all the way back to the 3rd line. A real orc comes around the corner and he's like... What?
Whoa, man. It was great too because I'd never played before, and I was like jovially like, why is everybody running away? I was just like rolling damage, I'm blowing Gretchen up, I was having a great time. And then we ended the first session with an axe in my chest. Yep. Like, my armor was split, I got a critical wound, I was pulled out of the battle.
Yeah.
Commissar woke me up the next day.
So one of my favorite introductions to the 40k universe was
one of my favorite introductions.
Here's fight Gretchen.
Ah, the uplifting primer. He has an original copy of it. It's about that big.
No, I have the original copy somewhere, but the one I think I have now is the Damocles edition.
So he let me borrow it, and I read it cover to cover, and it was funny because there's like at least a dozen pages in it that are like, don't write on this page by punishable by death and stuff like that. I'm like, why? And then it's like there's a contract in there. It's like, if I lose my gun, I will submit myself to corporal punishment leading up to like, capital punishment.
The first time is lashes, and the second time is death if you lose your gun.
And there's nowhere you can write the circumstance under which you lost your gun, but it doesn't matter. Right. If this is the second time, you're turning in your paperwork to be killed for losing your gun. The paperwork is in the book. Yeah, and then all the little pictures of the enemies and stuff are pretty funny. Yeah. And then the most intensely written parts are like the prayers and stuff where there's some junk in there. It's good little book. Yeah. It was a fun way to learn about this stuff, and to be dragged through it as a guardsman was really fun. That's why I always say I'm a guardsman at heart. Like, I really was mad to see these traitor guardsmen.
After they just got overrun over the next week, to the point where he's fighting. He's like one of the last guardsmen up. The orcs are pouring into the line, and the commissar hears that they called down a danger close orbital bombardment. So like they're just giving up they're.
Well, Steve's English was so bad that Galen's character, the commissar, was having trouble explaining to me why we had to vacate the battlefield. He had to tell me that there was blessings coming from above or something like that.
The whole
salvation.
Thing. The whole thing was this: is the commissar mantra is that way is glory, that way is death, and above you is salvation. Right.
Oh, that's right. So, and I carried that all the way to the end of the game too. I was talking about that a lot. And
so, like the commissar mantra, like face the enemy. That's where glory is. If you die there, it's glory. That way is just
failure.
Death. Failure.
Stupid.
And the emperor is salvation. So he's sitting there in this fight, and he's just going to town with a grenade launcher at point blank range, killing things. But the Imperium is just like, okay, well, we lost that line, but we can't give up this zone yet. So let's just bombard it from orbit to knock the orcs back so we can reform the line. So the sky is starting to glow, and he's loving it. Because to him, he's like, salvation! Salvation!
Here.
You told me, Commissar! Salvation is coming! Commissar's like,
He's always listening.
He's like, we have to go. Salvation's coming. And I'm like, why would we run from salvation? Like, look at the sky. It's opening up for us. And he had to, like, basically drag me out of the fight. We were real close when it went off, too.
Yeah.
Like, we were, like, in a building next door. Like, the windows got shattered. I think we were under rubble.
We went to a bunker, yeah.
It was
bunker
stupid. I almost got us all killed by by trying to embrace the salvation.
In the aftermath of that battlefield, you met another commissar who was very circumspect, sus, as the kids call it these days.
Yeah. Salvation's coming. We need to not be here. I'm like, what?
She led you guys into a tower facility that was nearby that got cracked open by the orbital bombardment.
It's funny. I forgot she was a commissar. I thought she was Tao too, and I was trying to remember why did we follow this.
Yeah,
Tao?
she was dressed up as a commissar, but she got in there and like they're going through and just like she was looking for something, but not really like. She was basically saying, we need to find help. You know, we need to find a secure place to stay. We need to call for help. We need a radio. But she's leading them through the facility like she kind of knows what's going on there. And they find a stealth suit, which she gets in and leaves. And meanwhile... Like,
I think that's when
That's when you guys were starting to join. While they were in this, the orcs were starting to populate the battlefield again. And because they made noise and all this, they were coming into the facility, and she just stealthed and got the hell out of there, left these two assholes to rot.
It was a lot of fun to roleplay, too, because I was supposed to be an idiot, so a lot of times if Galen started to talk to the other characters for longer than about 30 seconds, I would just check out on purpose. And eventually he would say my name, and I'd be like, Mizar? And he would just tell me what to do, and I would just do it. I didn't have to follow any lore or anything. I was listening because I wanted to know, but it was like...
Right, yeah, you didn't have to, like...
My character didn't do anything unless the commissar told him to. Man. He had almost no mental faculties of his own. It was a really fun character to play. And then we had an Ogren later, which is like a half-ogre.
No, it's an ogre.
It's an ogre. And Steve's character's a guardsman. He was the strongest in his group and stuff like that. He's all about being beefy and meaty and manly and shit. And so he kept challenging the ogre to like feats of strength. Like we got a door blown off and it was hot, and so I tried to see who could hold their hand longer. He kept making us roll strength, so the Ogren's rolling like a D20 and I rolled like a D6. And he kept he lifted a log, I couldn't budge it. He put his hand on the door for like 3 minutes, I could barely touch it. Like I couldn't jump over something, he like effortlessly jumped over it. I was like, damn it! because he kept pitting himself against the ogre.
And he had to end up killing you at the end.
He did. At the very end, I was killed by a poxwalker. I was killed by a
plague bearer.
And turned into a poxwalker, and my ultimate death was he made me roll an attack against the ogre, and then the ogre had a counterattack that took my head off.
Yeah. Oh,
we were all very sad about Steve after that.
Yeah, that was like the end. We just stopped
played
playing.
We played like 5 or 6 more sessions.
Because he came back in as the
I rolled a Space Marine sniper.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because I was like, I'm going to be a scout, I'm going to be a Space Marine, I'm going to be a sniper, because I don't normally play snipers, and I thought, I'll survive better. And it ended up being super boring, because I was getting off this really crazy character that was always first, and
it's in the back.
And now I was a sniper, and I was like, this game sucks. It's only because I lost my favorite character. Yeah, dude, we had to say goodbye to him. He was tough to let go of.
We actually have memes of him. Like we need to find those pictures. They are great.
No, Steve was well beloved.
I found a guardsman picture and it kept writing his illegible sayings. Lives and gone, but don't be forget me and shit like that. I was like, what the fuck does that say?
And then I found the Poxwalker one. I put something on it.
Any more guards? Or got guardsmen or something like that. It was stupid. And then I cut the head off the guardsman and he became the meme for a while. Or
So are these heretic archoflagellants? What are these guys?
They are.
They look like Adeptus Mechanicus Chaos.
That's what I.
Yeah. Acroflagellants are
Is it Acro? I thought it was Arco.
Could be Arco. I don't know.
I mean, they have a generator on their back. Arco would make more sense.
No, these things are a little bit different. I'll get to them in a second. But the Arcoflagellants are
souped up.
They're pretty much
they're
repentant. They're fanatical repentance. That they the people that whipped themselves back in medieval times. They're the 40K version of those. Yeah. So they have electric tendrils that they just whip fucking everywhere.
And their names are called the
Arcoflagellants.
This is self-flagellation.
Self-flagellation.
Yeah.
But these things are called...
An example of that, Silas from Da Vinci Code was a self-flagellator.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
He wore the Salici, which is an old, out-of-date thing where you should suffer every moment that you are awake so that you can emulate Jesus' life. So they have that chain garter. So you have a barbed garter that you tighten on your thigh in the morning, and then when you go throughout your day, when you're not able to self-flagellate, you're still feeling the pain of Jesus. And then when you pray,
for the faithful on the go,
and then you release the Salici, and then you self-flagellate during prayer.
God.
And you're not supposed to tend your own wounds, I believe, in this faith either. You have to have someone else do it because Jesus took care of others. So you should be willing to ask other people for help that you caused your own damage. You should still ask for help. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Negavolt cultists.
Negavolt?
Negavolt cultists.
That's like a Darkwing Duck bad guy.
Mind, body, machine,
This is Negaduck.
all can be made to feel unending agony.
Excellent. Oh, that is a self-flagellator right there. God, I kind of want to play one of those.
No, that's enemy.
I know, but it's just like the idea. Maybe I'll be the Space Pope.
I bet he's got some good stuff. Cleona was a lot of fun, and
he's just so like archetypical. Like, he just looks Catholic and mean, and that's just a bad combo. Sorry if you're Catholic.
No, they know more than anyone else.
The heretic and blasphemer can offer no excuse for their crimes.
It's like John Mulaney's like, I'm a Catholic from the Midwest. Our idea of sharing our feelings is, I'll just bottle it up and one day I'll die. Like, that's how we share our feelings. Midwest Catholics.
So, Negavolt cultists, the Spindle Drones, Traitor Guardsmen, Urguls.
That's these guys. I like their eyes. You see their eyes?
They don't really have them.
Gives me trypophobia.
They have tons of them.
It's tryptophobia.
I don't know.
Tryptophobia is like the
holes.
number 3, right?
No, tryptophobia is like...
That's tripophobia.
Yeah, triple would be 3. A tryptophobia is like... It's where there's like holes. Like imagine garlic. If you take the garlic out, you have a weird sensation about that hole. Like you don't like that. Like open pimples, open sores.
Bot flies.
Yeah, bot flies. Oh god, bot flies and blowflies are terrible. If you're curious about tryptophobia or whatever,
the internet knows.
So I was going to say, if you go to YouTube, you can look at it's a gibbon botfly removal.
Ugh.
And because they can't, advocate for themselves or take care of it with medicine and stuff, they grow to full size because they're an actual host species for it. And when they pull them out, the botflies will be about that big when they get removed, and about that big around. They're about the size of a half of a Cheeto.
Yeah.
And so when they pull them out, there's a little bit of blood from where they were suckling, but the hole itself is open.
Yeah.
It's just a wound, and it's as deep as the botfly is.
Ugh,
it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, and that's where tryptophobia came from. It's like these holes, something's going to get in there, or there's already something in there.
Nurgle, in 40k, Nurgle loves those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What did you call it?
I called it trypophobia.
Trypophobia.
But the Urguls are...
Oh, you're right. It's trypophobia. I'm sorry. Tryptophobia is something different. Let's look it up. Yeah. I like it. I've learned some new words today.
Urguls are natives to the Webway.
Oh.
And they're found all over. In 40k, you can get Urguls in Dark Eldar.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Eldar webway?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Dark Eldar can bring them on as add-ons to units
fun!
and stuff like that.
Well, they never do it.
And they also, when ships get infested with them somehow, Imperial ships, when they go through the warp, they can pick up Urguls somehow.
So trypophobia is the misnomer used for trypophobia. So I have the incorrect term for the same thing. Yeah, you are correct.
The best kind.
But you're technically correct.
correct.
The best kind of correct. Except this time you were definitively correct. We found the definition. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Little space goblins.
Urguls are troglodytic predators whose speed is matched only by their savagery. Native inhabitants of the Webway, the subdimensional lattice that exists between real space and the warp, they are kept as pets and guard beasts by the elite of the cruel Eldari faction known as the Drukhari.
You can't see the pictures, but imagine a hairless Vorcha from Mass Effect.
Wow, yeah. That is exactly what that looks
They
like.
have the 4 eyes, the spiky ears, and no hair.
I like that word troglodytic. I never see troglodytes in D&D anymore, and I always thought they were funny because they're just really stinky lizards, and I kind of like them in second edition.
I think the reason it's been dropped from the
maybe it's a bit of a derogatory kind of connotation.
Yes, because troglodyte is used as an insultuous term, and so it's been kind of dropped from the
okay, that makes sense.
It's been dropped from the nomenclature.
But I miss my stinky lizards, is all I'm saying. They can call them something else, that's fine.
They probably have several stinky lizard varieties.
Not enough.
In D&D. You can make as many as you want.
One day I will.
I said hominid in class the other day, and a couple of kids looked at me funny, like, what? Homosexual, it's hominid.
Right. The hominids.
But we got to talk about what it meant. Homo means same, hetero means different. So heterochromia, heterogeneous, I get to use that word a lot in work because I have to set up heterogeneous groups.
Beastmen. Yeah, I didn't know Beastmen survived in the 40K. I mean, everything is still like around,
and it's like
they just don't have like
they are just mutant humans.
Yeah. So because they look very much like Diablo 2 goatmen.
Yeah,
they look very much like a demon man.
In 40K,
that was good for you.
In 40K, the original Rogue Trader, you could get Beastmen that were anything. Snake Beastmen, Bird Beastmen, like.
When are we going to play that game?
So when we say rogue traders, I mean he's left the Imperium of Man.
No. Let's talk about rogue traders.
So rogue traders are so the Imperium of Man is very much like a it's like an imperial medieval imperial. Like we are an empire of humanity. Everywhere that we can see is already ours.
Manifest destiny.
Right? So we just have to go there and and make sure everyone knows that it's ours. But there's only so much authority they can extend over the universe. They only have so many planets that have imperial presences, right?
Yeah.
So a rogue trader, generally speaking, if you're a merchant vessel or someone even important enough to have a ship, if you're a regular Imperial citizen, you are not allowed to go outside of the Imperium. Like, don't go out there. We haven't claimed it yet. It's not for you.
So, but it's not a suggestion. It's a law. Like
it's a law. You are not like merchants cannot go out there into black space and try to find wealth. Like that's to the Imperium. Like that's our wealth. You can't just go take it.
That makes sense. So rogue traders are just not following the Imperium edicts.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Rogue traders.
They're one of the coolest little
they are.
Jumping to conclusions.
Rogue traders have a writ, and this goes back to something that happened in history. But at some point, the Emperor gave a writ to someone, and because you need explorers, and normally the Imperium would send out the Magos, the explorers of the machine cult, or they'd send out missionaries from the ecclesiarchy. But they can give noble families a writ that says you can go explore. You can go outside the purview of the Imperium and claim for us our rightful share. And until
pirates.
And until we get there,
Dutch East India Company.
And like you have to report everything you find, right? You find planets and all this. But until we get there, everything out there is for you to use as you will until we get there.
Yeah.
So
so this is like the Dutch East Galaxy.
Yeah. It's I'd say that's probably one of the most fun 40K RPGs.
Well, I hear Rogue Trader all the time, and I
good.
can put the two words together and come up with my own synopsis. But I didn't actually know, and that's cool. I know that now.
And that is so. Rogue Trader as a game is probably one of the best RPGs ever.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything's called. If you hear it called Rogue Light, it's referring to Rogue Trader, right?
Yeah, Rogue Light's from
from Rogue. Sorry,
it's from a game Rogue.
Yeah. We need that emoji version. Is this? It's yours.
So I was looking in the fridge. Pull it.
The Rogue Trader game was the first time. Like I like my humble beginnings. I like heroes that they.
You make the hero.
You make the hero. You start from fighting goblins and finding your place in the world and all this stuff. And Rogue Trader was the first one where like, oh, you guys own a ship. And on that ship are thousands of people that are under your command. So it is very much a different scale of a game. And for all my players that I ran with, they are all used to D&D type games as well. Like, you work long and hard to get anywhere, and maybe one day you'll command some minions and things like that. So I had to retrain my group. Like, I had to bring them slowly into Rogue Trader and explore it myself. So when I first ran Rogue Trader, the ship came into port damaged, just fucked up. And it landed and started broadcasting a message that someone on the planet was the inheritor of the Rogue Trader writ, because they're dynasties. They're handed down from generation to generation. And this broken-ass ship flew in and said, hey, this dude on this planet is the rightful heir of this ship. We'll give them 1,000 credits to whoever brings him up to the ship. Right? And so there's a bunch of fights over who would get to bring him up there, and there was a nice little adventure of him getting through the hive to get up and out. And when he got up and out, the entire ship was just, it had been drifting for a decade, barely like keeping itself going, and all the factions on the ship started their own rebellions, basically. The engine seers, the tech priests in the engine rooms were trying to do their own thing. The military in the belly of the ship were being held back by the guards of the ship.
Also, they're warring on the ship.
So, like, the entire ship now is just a city that's at war with each other. It's completely mutinous. And the Rogue Trader captain gets on board, gets one aide, and it's like, okay, you need to get your ship back under control. And he went, section by section. He picked an area. Okay, let's deal with the engine room. Let's deal with this area. And he brought it back under his control, learning and getting more resources. Like, oh, I brought the engine under control. Now I can do this on the ship. Now I can do that. And as he took over each section of the ship and brought it back to in the fold, he learned what the ship was about and what he could do with it.
That's fun.
And then he flew off to his dynasty to figure out what the hell happened, because and that was also the thing, is he had charts of all these planets that his dynasty owned, but his dynasty was attacked and kicked out. So he had to go reconquer his assets from his enemies, because another rogue trader had come in and destroyed his dynasty, basically. That ship that got out was the only one, the last ship of that
That's
dynasty.
another part what I like about that game, is that, like, when you're beyond the reaches of the Imperium, it's just a lawless land, and there's other rogue traders that want what you're trying to get after, and
if you deal with Xenos...
Yeah, just make sure the Inquisitor can't kill you for it.
I mean, the Inquisitors generally don't go out there. Just be quiet about it when you come back into Imperial space.
Hide the orc.
There's a great novel series, the Shira Calpurna series, which is all about an Arbitus.
Oh, okay.
And she gets chosen to see the passing of a dynasty from someone who died to an heir. And all the other... officers of the dynasty all wanted it themselves. They wanted to kill the heir and take the writ themselves. So basically, like, 4 other people are all, like, secretly plotting to try to get this thing. And she fights one. It's one of the best duels between 2 Magos I've ever seen. Like, they literally are yelling binary at each other,
right, and just shutting
down.
Control over.
They're fighting for control over the tunnel they're in, the weaponry that's in the halls.
That's fun.
They're shutting down each other's eyesight and machine systems.
Fun to yell, like.
And there's
like, damn it! Stop turning my shit off.
So that was the Magos that was trying to take over the dynasty. But I can't remember who it was, an officer, just the first officer or whatever it is. She had Xenotech all over her.
Oh,
she
really?
She had the digi-weapons. Yeah, she had digi-weapons on every finger. Her buttons on her coat were all crack bombs. Like, you just pick it out and you can blow a hole in a wall.
Yeah. That's the benefit of being part of a rogue trader crew. You get the stuff you can't normally have.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up from way earlier, is the Jacaro. So there's besides the races and we've talked about in this, there's a race called the Jacaro, and they're these, like, they look like orangutans.
They are, right? Like, I'm pretty sure they're uplifted orangutans.
And they can take they just take things, they take them apart and put them back together better, and no one knows why. And the Imperium loves to find them and capture them, just for that purpose. To just like, here's a lasgun, and now it's smaller, and now it's smaller, and now it's smaller.
Monkey mech boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how does it work?
Grease monkeys.
Like
grease
monkeys.
Like digi-weapons are rings that have a
Grease
full-fledged
apes.
gun in it. Like your plasma pistol that you use or whatever, that someone could be wearing that on their finger. And it's all Jakaro did that. But did you know that they actually fly around in their own ships?
In a really cool way.
Yeah.
The more you roll.
So the Jakaro don't travel by the warp. Their ships reconfigure themselves physically to be in a different part of the universe, and they are just there. Their ship just goes
Physical quantum
Yep.
entanglement.
and now their ship is and that's why they're so hard to capture for the Imperium to get them.
And they look like one of those toys that like
you
big
span
heads,
and
then
That do
you know those all these balls, those looks like
they're called the geodesic dome. Yeah.
That's what their ships are like.
Hoberman spheres.
they just go and now they're somewhere else.
Yeah, it's a Hoberman sphere.
Hoberman sphere.
The there's also
I took geometry 3 times in high school.
There's also a
What happened outside the Imperium stays outside the Imperium.
there's also a Dark Eldar person that figured out warp travel themselves. Like they can travel somewhere else themselves. No ship, no nothing, no Geller field. They can just I want to go to this planet. Boop.
How do the warp spiders do it?
Just those generators on their back. Just
Yeah.
open up.
Spiders, is that what you
Yeah,
said?
they're a sect of warriors among the craft world Eldar. They're like the jump infantry units, but they actually make short hops to the warp as a unit.
You'll hear.
We did that in WoW.
Right, it's that. It's like that, but they do that just to move all the time. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean-
they can appear right on top of you.
Look, I was getting better at that stuff. It's brand new. I was only 2 years old.
Yeah, that's like another whole bag of worms that we could talk hours on. Is how the Eldar work.
Well, we're right
Just
at,
craft world.
we're right at an hour and a half. Why don't we take our little break?
Yeah, let's
I
take a
gotta
little,
pee
let's
anyway,
take a little
so
break. Let's open up those buenos.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Crack open a bueno.
Right. Oh,
I know we're just talking, but we're going to take our short break now. We'll be back in about 10.
Oh, Bandy's scratching. Oh yeah, Bandy, is it break time for you too, girl?
I grabbed my pen out of the car too. That's what
Oh yeah, let's get on that.
Yeah, I was like, what
We'll be right back, everybody.
Your penna.
We need to. We need to discuss what we're doing with this. Like
Oh, what? The game.
painting and all that jazz.
Yeah, I do want to paint. I want to at least paint who we're playing.
I want to get escalation, and I kind of don't care how much I have to spend for it.
Yikes, dude.
Just having those
Yikes.
those options of the other characters. So, if those other characters are around, they have another rogue trader. They have the tech priest. They have the psyker, Primaris psyker. So, if we don't get escalation, what do you want to play?
I'm thinking. Well, I was him in a little
You never got to really play him.
It's true. He was really fun. So I'd say, yeah, it probably would be between him, this fanatic, or maybe the navigator. I love navigators.
All right.
That'd probably be my 3. Although I'm kind of curious about. Well, we should probably go through what they do, and then we'll probably have a better idea of what we want to do. Oh, they're bags within bags.
Bags within bags within bags.
Are each of the little Twix things inside
Yep.
also wrapped up?
Probably. Yes.
God, why do we waste so much?
We do waste so much. We'll be right back, everybody. Is the light on?
Light. What is light?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Is it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, that's the guy that takes care of that. That's the worst I've ever seen.
Oh.
They're like, we're in talks with the EU to supplement our gas. I'm like, hey, why did you wait so long? You're a part of the EU. We're not sponsored by Kinder, but I would shit myself if we were.
Probably, because that's like, we eat all that chocolate. We'd eat it all.
Have you seen me eat sugar? There's no end.
That's fine.
I have 2 broken teeth in my head that are killing me because of sugar.
I know it's going to be delicious.
It's unrealistic. Like, there's no reason for that to taste like this. So if you've never had a German candy, they do sell them in the U.S.
I know.
The Planos. So you can also find Kinder Kid Snacks, Happy Hippo Snacks, and they make those prize eggs. The prize eggs they have some good flavor, but it's more of a cream now because in the U.S. you can't put a toy inside the plastic eggs because Americans keep choking on them. It's a true story. It's illegal.
No, I know.
It's
Yeah,
illegal
the
to put
Kinder's
toys in candy.
surprise.
So the eggs in America break. There's a toy in one half, and then you open the other half, and it's just hazelnut cream with a little cookie ball in the middle. I can't say enough good stuff about German chocolate. Anyway.
Join me.
Join me.
Oh,
I know.
that's very good.
Right?
And I have a sweet tooth. If you go back and watch any of our
Candy, the other one?
YouTubes or other stuff and shit, there's like 2 pounds of candy on the table, and I've eaten half of it already. It's bad. I'll have 2 bowls of cereal before I have dessert sometimes. Taylor will be like, "What'd you eat last night?" I'm like, "I had this spaghetti that was left over. 2 bowls of almond cereal, and then I had a bowl of cookies and cream ice cream. I had a couple of Twizzlers in bed to help me go to sleep."
A little sugar to top off the nightcap.
I've been identified as possibly towards diabetic twice because I'll go to the doctor and my urine sugar is always really high, but my blood sugar's fine. And they're like, "Have you had any sugar today?" I was like, yeah. And I'm like an open book anyway, but if I'm at the doctor, that's where I really
you kind of have to be at that.
They always say
point,
when they ask like what drugs are you taking or anything like that, I'm always like 2 aspirin.
right? Because
I
if
hit my pen too.
you're there to figure out.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
No, but they always tell people always like fudge and stuff, and so they were always kind of taken aback when I drank when I wrote the real number down there. And the guy would be like, "Did you mean to write 30 drinks a week?" And I was like, "Oh, that's an average." He goes, "That might be part of why you don't feel good."
Really?
And I was like, "I know that. Tell me the other stuff. Tell me the doctor's stuff."
I'm surprised how thin the cream is in there. This is very good. So, Blackstone Fortress, huh?
Blackstone Fortress. Alright, so,
What are red lines on these hexes? That means you can't cross them?
can't cross them, man.
Man.
Like this one is a hallway.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Huh.
Junction.
Oh. Little Y section there.
And
A fork in the road.
there's some that, like, so this one...
Tattoos and memories.
This one would be like, the map would show this, like this, and so like that's a pillar in the middle of this.
Oh, I see.
So
Stacking hexes.
for whatever reason, they had like an entire extra top half of the Psychers sprue. So like there's 2 pieces of Psycher that don't have another half, but there's only 2 Psychers that come in this box, and here they are.
Yeah.
So
they both came up with a backup piece. Weird.
So, they're not missing anything, but there's these 2 extra Psychers, half Psychers, so we can make ghost Psychers.
Gosh, how weird for GW to give you anything extra of something, huh?
Do you want to go over their background, or do you want to go over their rules?
Let's do some background for me, and then we'll do the rules right after. Here you go. Also, this is the same banana strength indica that I've had the last couple of times.
Oh man, yeah. I think I'll have to pass on that. That thing whoops me up.
I mean, all we're doing is talking. Have one puff.
That's true. That's true.
Bad influence.
Yeah. Thanks. I feel properly enabled.
All right. So do you want to know about Janus Drake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that like who? Because he looks badass. And
He's pretty Glario, which is enticing to me. So for those of you who don't know, Glario was the he was the nobleman in Warhammer Quest Curse City, which we just finished in November. And starting these new Warhammer Quest games, picking a character is like really important because there's 8, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, there's 8 main characters, and their stats build up. They do kind of level. They buy equipment. They do stuff.
I don't know if these actually. I don't think these have the cards that give them new skills.
Gotcha. But you can still purchase things. You can still spend. And these characters get better over time. So it's kind of like a real RPG in that respect. So making a character decision is kind of important because he'll level up with the other group, and then later when you die, you can bring in one of the other characters if they're at their starting level. So there's a lot of there's some strategy involved in picking who they are. And so the first step is picking that guy, making a team that's effective. Because you can pick whoever you feel like. So you can have 3 guys with guns and then a priest, and you're like, oh, we need some mechanics, or we need someone with a gun, that kind of shit. So you can really fuck yourself right from the get go in these games.
Remember, this guy definitely has a gun.
Yeah. So he's going to help tell me about Janus. Janus is the rogue trader in this game. So he's the most closely resembling the character I played in Curse City. So I was just curious about him, and I also want to hear about the Space Pope. I don't think that's his real name, but he sure as heck looks like a Space Pope.
The music for 40K actually has a Blackstone Fortress ambience.
Ah, nice.
Just for this.
Let's hear it.
Maybe ambient.
Amniotic?
Ambient.
Oh, ambient, yeah. Because it does sound amniotic as well.
Oh, like in
the wound.
Yeah. Ooh, what if it's a machine wound?
That would make sense for Blackstone Fortress. Like why we can't figure out what it does, because we don't know how to put together an awesome giant, like a warp being.
Explorers to enter the Blackstone Fortress. No,
let's read the real stuff.
No, listen to this.
We're writing our own Blackstone Fortress.
To enter the Blackstone Fortress to invite inglorious and a horrific end.
Yay! So, just like anywhere else, a normal place in 40K.
Welcome to 40K.
And none who undertake such risks do so lightly.
That is not amniotic.
Janus Drake. Intrepid and audacious, Janus Drake has traveled far and wide in search of rare commodities to sell to humanity's ruling elite. As a rogue trader, his warrant of trade grants him the authority to explore beyond the charted regions of the Imperium space and to negotiate agreements with Xenos races, so long as such activities serve to strengthen the Imperium.
So, when we say Xenos races, that means races discovered and undiscovered, right?
Correct. He is a deft duelist. He is a deft duelist and has slain all manner of creatures over the course of his travels by locating and exploring the Blackstone Fortress. Drake hopes to unlock the terrifying power of the space station and claim it for mankind.
Why not?
At the same time, any archaeotech he finds that could be sold or used to future pursuits makes a welcome addition to his ship's holds.
Also, as someone who loves language, I love 40K's use of Latin. Like archaeotech is like my new that is in my brain. I'm thinking of like ancient technology.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. Because that's kind of what happens in the first Alien movie. They find that proto-species crashed, and that ship is like old. It's been there for thousands of years, and it's like more advanced than anything they've ever seen. That's kind of the premise of Star Wars and some of the my favorite stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's cool stuff, man.
40K.
Thaddeus the Purifier.
And that's the Space Pope, right?
Yep, that's Space Pope.
Thaddeus or Thaddeus?
Thaddeus.
Ooh, even better.
Taddeus. Thaddeus.
He's showing you he's like, look at this reference.
He's like, this is why.
Do you see what I look at this. Like, look what I just read. What's great is in the picture he's looking at it.
Oh yeah.
So it's
hey, yeah.
Look at this.
You know what? He's almost holding that.
Well, yeah, Inquisitor book.
Thaddeus the Purifier. As an
ecclesiarchal book.
As an Adeptus Ministorum priest, Thaddeus the Purifier has spread faith in the Emperor's godhood across the stars. Whether amongst the unwashed rabble of a teeming hive world or fighting alongside the heaving ranks of the Astra Militarum soldiery, his words steer imperial souls towards righteousness and are backed up by brutal swings of his power maul. More than one planetary governor has been brought low by Thaddeus, his winnowing gaze seeing through their finery to detect deep-seated corruption or psychic mutation.
Winnowing?
Winnowing.
So when do you get to use that?
Yeah. In truth, bringing the justice of the faithful to those loftiest of individuals is the one true joy in which Thaddeus indulges. For in the pyre flames of the accused, he sees images that he believes to be messages from the God Emperor.
He's like a mean Durmok.
He saw one such image whilst immolating an impenitent navyman who had spread rumors about the Blackstone fortress. This vision showed Thaddeus that he must travel to the western reaches and carry the Emperor's light into the darkness. Now that he has arrived at Precipice, the Purifier sees that there is much righteous work for him to undertake, both in cleansing the heretical inhabitants of the Blackstone Fortress and in cementing the Imperial Creed within the settlement itself.
That didn't help me choose at all. These are both really cool descriptions.
Anyone else?
Oh, man. I am curious, not so much about their backstory, but the play style of the twins. I don't know anything about the Kroot. You said the Navigator is pretty much like a Dune Navigator in theory, okay.
Cool.
I know the Ogre Bot, I've heard his story. How about this flamethrower fanatic guy?
Alright, Pious Vorn. Vorn is a missionary in the service of Thaddeus the Purifier, having been taken under his wing when she was little more than a teenager.
Oh, it's a she.
Yep.
That's even scarier.
She grew up amongst the refinery clans.
Never Taylor a flamethrower?
Yeah.
God. I'm done first.
She grew up amongst the refinery clans of the hive world of Gethsemane. Gethsemane?
E-I-N?
M-A-N-E.
A-N-E, mate.
So Geth, like the Geth from Mass Effect. Gethsemane. Gethsemane. And when the Purifier arrived to weed out the rumored chaos cults that were fomenting heresy amongst the workers.
This is great language. I love
Vorn watched the priest's actions with open admiration. 7 of her clans people were identified as potential heretics and were lashed to a pyre stake for purification. But after they had been doused in sacred oils, one slipped his bonds and fled. The fugitive raced into the crowd of onlookers away from the bellowing Thaddeus and straight into Vorn, who pushed the oil-drenched man into an exposed pilot light on the side of an alchemite stack. So intense was the heat of the man's combustion that the skin on Vorn's lips and hands were burnt away, yet still she watched eagerly as the screaming heretic had been reduced to ash. Thaddeus saw one like himself in Vorn and gave her the name Pious, as well as a flamer with which she could continue the Emperor's work. Yeah. Now, as she heads into the Blackstone Fortress, Pious Vorn seeks to bring righteous fire to those who have not seen the light of the Imperium.
Yeah, that one's not for me.
Yeah, that's pretty sick though. I like that Thaddeus gave her a flamethrower just in case you forgot why you can't pronounce the letter B. Here's this just to keep your memory on.
This is like the double entendre of the pious, like the piety and the pyro. It's a really
the ecclesiarchy does a lot with Promethean. They love it.
What I'm learning now is that I want to write for Games Workshop. It's an English company. They obviously know their English. Like, this is wonderful. Like, I love hearing it.
I don't know the definition of fomenting.
Foment would be like coming together. So fomite transmission is when I touch something and it transfers to my hand. That's fomite because they came together. Foment.
We're all learning today.
Latin's fun, man. It's really, really cool. I want to take it in. I want to go back. I want to just take Latin.
Anyone else?
I want to know about. So I know about navigators. What's the Eldar story? We have an alien here. Well, we have Kroot, but Kroots are mercenaries, so we kind of.
It makes sense. Like we would hire one.
Yeah.
Emmeline Shadow Guide. As a ranger, Emmeline Shadow Guide is used to operating far from her craft-world home of Bieltan.
Real quick, just because I've heard this term a couple times. What is it? Craft world.
Oh,
Craft world,
baby.
so when the Eldar murder-fucked Slaanesh into existence, all of their home worlds
True story about it.
fell. Like that. Like the Eye of Terror is where the Eldar Empire used to be. So they had to leave. Like the ones that saw it coming left. And what they did was they built these massive colony ships and got on them and flew away. Now, these colony ships aren't meant to stop anywhere. They're not like, I'm going to go make a colony. They are the colony. So they are a craft world.
Oh, so their ships are craft world.
Are craft world.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So they've crafted a world.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a world where you used all of the resources to build one thing.
So this
I
is
see.
just
Like a Forge world.
Forge world.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking Forge world. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
I never made that connection, but that I could. Yeah,
See,
that makes
like,
sense. Yeah.
From the Imperium side, like they put something world
Right.
as what it does.
Yeah.
But the Eldar, it's no. This is a crafted world that we made and we live on because they are now migratory.
Yeah,
They're
and
just
you can't. You could never comprehend the pronunciation of the actual words, so we're just going to call it
It's
craft
so fun
world.
to hear the cultural differences in a fake world.
Yeah.
Like, this is amazing.
I was thinking about the other day, like trying to explain to someone like lore and all that stuff. Like, oh, what are you into? Oh, video games and lore of these worlds. And if they ask you like, what's that? And you can say, oh, do you remember going to school and you learn science and history and politics and geography? Yeah, I learned all of that for places that don't exist.
Big same.
Taylor, my wife was saying that it looks like Dungeons and Dragons is a hobby for people whose hobby is studying. Yeah. Like, what do you do for fun? I read. You're like, wait, what? That's not like I study. I study for fun in this group. It's ridiculous.
So, if you know like anything about them, like the splats that in 40K, right? There's Ultramarines, there's Raven Guard, there's the difference between a blue Marine and a red Marine and a green Marine, because they like the coloring schemes. You can change your units and all that, and everything has a different flavor
And a different history.
And it's like that for everything. Like every world has a different Imperial Guard regiment, so you can have different uniforms, different guns.
Well, even for our one kill team game, we had given my commissar a different name and explained what they would be doing there and why was I playing guardsman again. I was like, this isn't even in the game. We were just making up retconning stuff to fit in the lore.
So the craft world is that. Like there's multiple craft worlds, and each Eldar group that comes from a craft world is a completely different society. They wear different color schemes. They have different wants. Bieltan, the one that she is from,
they do not like humans.
No, they are the most warlike.
Yeah.
They, like most other Eldar, don't want to fight because they're a race that's going on the level of extinction.
Yeah.
They love to fight.
Interesting. So now I'm curious about her. So you said that she's a ranger. She's used to being away from her craft world. Then I stopped you.
Yeah. As a ranger, Emmeline Shadow Guide is used to operating far from her craft world home of Bieltan. For long centuries, she has traveled the webway, the lattice-like subdimension that connects distant stars, hunting down the enemies of her people and seeking ways to return the Aldari race to its former glory. Her craft world was fractured during a massive battle. Ravenous daemons fought the avatar of the newly formed Aldari god Yanid in a conflict so cataclysmic that it helped tear open the Great Rift.
I didn't know that this game was that recent.
Yeah, it is after the new 40K.
Huh.
The Daemon hordes were driven back, the enormous spacecraft was damaged beyond repair, and many of the Ashiani souls stored within its infinity circuit were lost forever. After receiving word from Bieltan's Farseers, Amelin set out to find the Blackstone fortress, for they had foreseen that deep within its labyrinthine corridors were millennia-old remnants of Aldari technology that might be used to restore their craft world.
Oh, shit.
There are few amongst the Ashiani that better suited to this task than Amelin Shadow Guide. Her very name is derived from the Aldari word At Mincha. You know what Mincha is, right?
Minch.
Kayla Mincha Kane, the god of murder.
Oh, no.
So At Mincha, which means seeker through shadows, and is born by those who strive to master the darkness that surrounds them,
it's like
as well as the darkness within themselves.
It's like a purple Jedi. Almost.
Yeah. So Kayla Mincha Kane is the full name of Kane.
I never heard it.
Kane.
Yeah, I've only just known him as Kane the Bloody Handed.
And I've actually seen this Craft World ship before in a comparison of ship sizes and stuff, but these are really pretty. Like,
I
it's
have
interesting.
a game.
Yeah.
I have a game called Doom of the Eldar. It's over there,
Huh.
where you play a craft world. It's not
Malantai, is it?
no,
Doom of the
it's
Or was that the...
it's a high fleet, but it's Eondon.
Oh, yeah, the Necromancers.
So it's it's the last days of their craft world as it's going, and you're playing the craft world, fighting off the Tyranid. It's
High Fleet
over there, so
Kraken,
we'll have to grab it out, and because the board is the entire craft world.
Oh, cool.
And you activate different sections of the craft world, you activate the aspect shrine of the Dire Avengers, so they can go fight off some Tyranid. You activate the Farseer shrine, so you can get a reroll next turn, whatever it is. But as the Tyranids start destroying parts of the thing,
no longer
use that.
Deploy that section of the craft world. That's cool. I would have loved to play that.
You said something else in there that I want to ask about. You said that she'd been doing this for centuries. What is the lifespan of an Eldar? Unknown.
Yeah, infinite.
Especially with
Is it considered infinite, or is it just not known by races of man or something?
I think they're intentionally vague about it.
Yeah.
I don't know, because the Black Library has the same dudes that's just been standing there for.
And the only time I've ever heard of someone dying of age is the Farseers, because they will eventually crystallize.
Because they're full of chemicals and shit for Farseeing?
Nope, they're not full of chemicals. They're just full of psychic abilities, and they're actually becoming part of the crystalline fate of the world, basically.
They're leaving their corporeal.
They have Elder have a weird thing with architecture. Wraithbone is their crystallized souls.
Well, no, the gem, the Infinity Circle, is that Wraithbone is just their building material.
Yeah,
and they have their builders are called Wraith Singers. So a guy walks up with a flute and starts playing it, and the material will turn into a house.
That's like that instrument that Fry plays and
whatever
that thing's called.
It has a silly name.
It was like Flugel Blad or something like that.
So the
Also,
Eldar.
Do you guys know what a Flugelbinder is? Okay.
So one of the things about the Eldar is this: they, in order to curb the fact that they fucked a god into existence, the craft world Eldar live a life of refrain. They don't go hog wild in their
like monks.
Yeah, they can't. They don't want to go too much in their desires or their basically their kinks. Their
this is very
things.
purple,
Right.
Jedi,
So they have to
Jedi.
stay pretty level, and what they do to do that is they focus on one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So they live lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes, but they go, I am now going to be a Wraithbone singer.
Scorpion.
No, I'm going to be a Wraithbone singer. So I am going to learn this instrument and learn how to craft things. And then when I'm finished with this, when I feel like I've gotten to the peak and I've done what I can for the world, I'm going to put this down. I'm never going to pick it up again, and I'm going to go do something else.
So this is
now I'm going to become a cook. And now I'm just going to learn from the bottom all the way up to learn to be the best chef I can be.
This is kind of an expansion of the Tolkien oath, where the reason they were so good was that I'm an archer.
Yeah,
You just
I've
practice
done
archery
this
for 3 years. That's
Yeah.
all you're gonna do, just archery. That's it.
So they live these lifetimes, right? And there's a problem though, because they're all psychic. They're all psychers. Every single one of them has the ability to be a psyker. They kind of dumb it down because they, again, don't want to tap the warp too much, and that's bad because you'll bring she who thirsts after you. So sometimes, Slaanesh. Sometimes they will get stuck. Someone will go, I'm playing this flute, I make the Wraithbone do what I want, and now this is all I want to do for the rest of my life. And they get stuck, and that's it. That person's going to do that for the rest of their life. Now they cannot get out of their path. Normally, you're supposed to walk multiple paths. Now there's some really cool aspects of this because Eldar are all pacifists essentially to begin with, but the ones that have to defend or fight.
Some weird interpretations of Slaanesh.
Oh yeah, and the Age of Sigmar ones are pretty weird now.
Sorry, I'm just referencing some of the stuff you're talking about. I'm still listening.
Keeper of Secrets. So when one of them decides that they want to fight, they feel the anger within them. They join a shrine. They join an aspect shrine, and the aspect shrines are aspects of the god of murder, and each one is a different aspect of what the god of murder does.
Yeah.
So, like, the Dire Avengers aspect is the honorable fighter, like, aspect. That's, like, the stand up and shoot. You know, I'm just, like, the space marine, basically. I stand up and shoot. But then there's the Howling Banshees aspect, which paralyze you with fear, and also a neural transmission.
Screaming,
screaming at you, and then they murder you. So the Striking Scorpions are the
like wet works,
the murderer, like the quiet murderer aspect. Yeah. They sneak and hide and jump on you and kill you.
So is the Eldar pantheon like monotheistic? Is it just
yeah, he killed. No. They don't worship shit.
It didn't start that way.
She eats them.
Okay.
So if an Eldar dies,
they go see
their soul goes to her and she eats them.
They do.
The only god they have left, well, there might be two. The only god they have left, because Slaanesh killed all the others, is Cain, the god of murder. And
and they're his aspects that they take.
The warriors.
Yeah, the warriors learn
if they
how to murder.
So does the pantheon involve those aspects of him, or is it just him
it's
they
just
worship?
Him.
Okay, so it is a monotheistic religion.
Yeah, but they don't worship him, but they emulate his aspects.
Gotcha. And
all the other gods are dead.
Yeah, and theism doesn't necessarily denote like worshiping. They just believe in one god.
The only other god that's supposed to be still alive is the Laughing God, and he is like the jester of the court of the old court of the thing.
So it's bitheistic thing.
And he.
Well, they had many, but Slaanesh ate them, so they no longer.
So they were polytheistic. But they believe only one exists. No, gotcha.
Now, the whole thing is, like, you can't say it like that because they knew their gods existed. So their gods did exist.
So then they
used to hang out.
Yes, and the pantheon had more gods in it. They would still say that there's a possibility. Okay.
And they'll still revere and talk about all the old gods, but they also know that their gods are dead.
Right.
So, anyway, when they get...
revert to monotheism, that's interesting.
And they're not really religious anymore either.
Yeah.
They utilize their gods' powers to help them survive. Anyway, when they feel the anger in them, they join one of these aspect shrines. And there's multiples of them. Now, when they join the aspect shrine, they learn the way, right? And when they're done with their path, when they've fought their battles and the anger is finally quelled within them, they'll go down another path. Now I'm going to be an artist. And they go off to an artist. Interesting thing about that is the peasant levies, essentially. If the craft world is going to go to war, they have these things called guardians, because you can't just have aspect warriors. There are too few of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they go, hey, everyone that has ever been an aspect warrior, you are going to help us defend. Because you're the only ones that have ever fought before.
It's like joining the reserves.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and they're the only, like...
And they hang back, they operate, like, the long range, like,
weapon
the artillery,
And so the Guardians are, like, I know war. If you were to send someone that has never gone through an aspect shrine, they would be useless on the battlefield. Yeah. But these people already know war, they've already been trained as elites. But they don't follow that path anymore, so they kind of lost a lot of it.
Because it's very peaceful inside the craft world. Yeah. Like they just do beautiful art and like it's probably the chillest place you can be.
So if they're not planning to land their ships at any point, how do they decide where they're going?
Well, a lot of it is just
the Farseers.
Yeah, the Farseers keep them on paths. They basically just try to They try to go the path that is going to keep them alive. Because they don't want to hit a zone that all of a sudden is going to start a war or anything like that. So they just cast their thoughts into the future and go, no, we have to adjust course this way because if we go too
Yeah.
close this, the
Yeah, we
humans
can't
will
move.
fight us or whatever.
So then it's probably pretty rare to see an Eldar.
Mhm.
And they're probably pretty shrouded in like mystery, like people don't know much about.
They have such a weird, cool history of like,
and well, then there's
often enemy, but sometimes friends.
Well, I was
with
gonna say
the,
that too. Yeah, the ones that they do probably have the most contact with are the ones that are aggressive towards humans, and that's kind of not saying much.
So when
BLT's got cool colors too.
When an aspect warrior becomes trapped, when they cannot leave the path, they get locked in their path, they become an exarch. And the exarchs, just like, now I am just this. I am this aspect of Caleb Ninja Kane, of the God of Murder. And the aspect warriors, the exarchs, just keep going down that line and become exceptional. They're the leaders of the units of the aspect warriors. But they will then never take off their armor. And eventually, when they die, if an exarch has been alive for so long, when they get shot on the battlefield and killed, they'll hit the ground and their armor is empty. Mm-hmm. The person inside is gone.
So they got these weird helmets, the Eldar. I don't know if you ever seen pictures of the Eldar and their armor and stuff like that. They got these weird helmets. And
make sure to put Craft World Eldar.
And even the Guardian ones, like, attunes them a bit to Kane, so they could like, oh yeah, I remember these things and stuff like that. But for the aspect warriors stuff, when they put their helmets on, they are psychically psychically become attached to that to that aspect of Kane.
That's a striking scorpion.
Like, it's not just an idea. Like, no, like they.
That's what are the commanders called?
Oh, well, I remember princes from the.
I guess every culture paints abs onto their armor.
Yeah. The other thing about that you're also missing is that the armors are handed down. So when you put on, like, I'm a new striking scorpion, it goes, here's the armor sets that we have. Find yours.
Are there heads this shape?
No.
Oh, they have human heads?
Yeah. There's
so,
a lot of like.
That's just
there's
how
probably
they do
a big old psychic crystal in there
to help them anyway. So they picked their armor, they bond with it because it has the memories of everyone who wore it before. That's why they don't really need training. The moment they put on the armor, they just start. They have to release themselves.
Yeah.
And they have to learn to do that to get into the fight.
I've seen these guys. You're just looking for miniatures and stuff like that. I just didn't realize what they were. Okay, so I know what these guys look like. All right.
Space elves.
So that's like how those die. So they can die of old age. But there's the other ones. If an Eldar chooses the path of a psychic person, like I want to become a wizard, basically, they have a couple choices. One of them is a seer. They can go join the seer council, and they'll help farseers, which are, we'll get to it in a second, do stuff. And they basically are the
Autarch, by the way.
Autarch, that's the commanders. And I'll get to them in a second. Eldar are so fucking cool.
Yeah, they are.
So the seers will help guide the entire choices of all of the people, from the lowliest argument on the ship to the path that the craft world's going to take and all that. If the person has ever been in an aspect shrine, has ever been an aspect warrior, and they choose the path of the seer, they become a warlock.
No,
So they are a battlefield.
That's how that works, huh? Interesting.
And
because they are very much more combat focused.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. That's
She's
the colors of
amazing.
BL10's got that green.
The green
sometimes
and white.
some red.
I love
the
green
white.
and white.
Right, yeah.
And this is that you can tell this is a Game Workshop paint because it's got the glowing gems, like they paint their reflections.
how they do things.
Yeah.
So
Nice,
warlocks
baby.
are the seers that have been aspect warriors before, and they fight on the battlefield. If a seer gets locked in their path, they become a farseer, and they will eventually crystallize.
Gotcha.
They become so powerful and all
the
the stuff. They just their legs will start to crystallize, and then they'll eventually not even be able to move.
So when
they're carted around, and they'll completely crystallize.
When they do completely crystallize, is there consciousness out there somewhere? They're dead.
So, no, hold on. Now we have to go into a whole other aspect. So how
back to the murder fuck
Back
god.
to the murder fuck god, Slaneesh. You know how we said that if they die, their soul goes to her and she eats them, right? So they don't want that. They don't want to do that.
But you don't want to eat
right? So that gem that you saw on her chest that you just talked about, that's called a soul stone. All Eldar wear one. They're assigned ones. Yeah. They're assigned one at birth, and they carry it with them forever.
I like it because this guy's got his like up on his chest armor and stuff.
And that's a Dark Eldar. He does not have.
Oh,
they may have one.
Some
but
of them do.
Die. They don't die. They get brought back to the place.
This is in his helmet.
I mean, with Drukhari, it could be a trophy from a Eldar cousin he killed or something.
Yeah, that could be a sign. But they all have them.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
So, when they die, their soul goes into that.
I need glasses again so I can start painting.
When their soul goes into that, it is hopefully recovered on the battlefield. Like that's one of their biggest things is recovering all of those from the battlefield.
Is this like one of those little shrine things you were talking about? Like this goes on the battlefield with them and they pray to it?
I think that's just a marker on the objective marker for them. So they put down, they get their soul stones, right, and they return them to the craft world because in the craft world there is a forest of Wraithbone that is called the Infinity Circuit, and it has circuitry running through it, like fiber optic, but soul cable.
I've been avoiding the question. What is Wraithbone?
Wraithbone is just their material that they build with, like their armor. Everything that you see is Wraithbone.
So this is like the word for metal, sort of.
It's like their plascrete.
Gotcha.
You know,
It's
just the thing they make everything out of. It is super
dense.
Yeah, it's a super material, right?
Yeah.
Because it can be formed into flexible armor plates, or it can be made into unrelenting building material.
Yeah.
All between on how it's sung. It's a nanotech.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to catch you up. It was like the fourth time we referenced Wraithbone. Like,
more Eldar fuckery.
In the Wraithbone Forest, they embed the Soul Stones into the Infinity Circuit.
So Wraithbone grows?
Yeah.
It's like a tree?
Yeah, remember the singers?
The singers make it go places. So it is kind of a living material.
Yeah.
But is it a tree? Does it grow like a gelatin? Is it a ball? Really. Is it a square?
The Wraithbone Forest is sung to be like a forest.
Yeah.
And it looks like
that way.
It looks like because their circuitry, their tendrils. Think of cyberpunk forest.
I get you.
With like fiber optics going on.
I was just curious if Wraithbone is like a naturally occurring material.
Yeah, not in the world.
Okay.
They probably grow it because
I'm going to study Wraithbone.
Yeah, it's a nanomaterial that does self-replicate. Because you just need to get Wraithbone to make more Wraithbone. Now,
where does Wraithbone come from?
Who knows? I don't know. Don't know that answer.
So if I was to,
I don't know where plascrete comes from either.
You can create plascrete. But so I kill an Eldar, or the Eldar, I don't kill the Eldar. The Eldar leaves something, whatever. He drops his sword, and it's made out of Wraithbone. I chip it. I have Wraithbone. It will self-replicate.
Nah, you don't have the ability to do that.
I can't make it self-replicate.
Yeah.
What do I need to make it replicate?
You need to be
super art.
You need to be a psyker that can sing.
Psychic ability.
Yeah, you need the psyker that can sing to the Wraithbone and be a Wraith singer.
Okay.
And that phrase comes up a lot, sing to the Wraithbone. Yeah.
So you put the soul stones into the circuit, and now there's a collective of all the souls, and the seers can speak to these souls and get knowledge out of it. So the collective knowledge of every Eldar is in the Infinity Circuit, and it actually goes through the entire craft world vessel.
So this is just an Elder Scrolls soul stone.
Yeah. And like you can actually
get the knowledge and power from somebody that you keep in the soul. Yeah.
And you're sitting there and like, man, I really wish I could speak to my mom right now. And you can put your hand up on the Infinity Circuit and go like, hey mom, how's it going?
Yeah. So you're not really immortal, but your consciousness is in the hives.
And it gets so bad, like
you get put in the cloud.
Like Eondin lost so many Eldar, lost so many people that they got together and they said like they're losing, the Tyranids are on the craft world killing them, and one of the seers is like, we can make Wraithbone warriors pull a soul stone off the tree and shove it in there, and our dead can fight with us again.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, that's appalling. but it's also what we have to do.
Yeah, otherwise we all die. And the Dark Elder were watching the whole time, like, I know. It feels so good.
The bad guys are always the best. Necromancy is always the answer. Necromancy is always the answer.
The Wraith Guard and the Dreadnoughts, the Wraith Lords, are literally souls of dead Eldar put into vehicles, very much like a Dreadnought for the Space Marines. Put into an armored body, and they go out and fight. Now, the whole thing is that outside of the craft world, where the Infinity Circuit is, they can't see. They can't see the world anymore. They're dead. So they actually have to have seers next to them. They have to have warlocks on the field to illuminate the world for them and tell them where to go.
Like, if I was born in 40K, I'd be like, please be a cook. Everything. What is your job? Oh, I just provide support to this guy until I die. When are you going to die? Oh, I don't die. That was hyperbole.
So
I remember those fuckers had, like, out of all the monsters, because they were counted as a monstrous creature instead of a vehicle, and they had the highest armor rating in the whole goddamn game. Like, nothing.
Well,
even my super tiered monsters couldn't have that kind of armor.
Remember that, like, sentient dodging in a vehicle would be considered part of its armor. If the thing is alive, wouldn't it be able to?
Well, I just mean I just mean like that's how like weird, magical, tough Wraithbone is too. Yeah, they were because usually the Eldar are known for being like like glass cannony kind of like they're pretty frail, but except for that, the things made of Wraithbone are just like you're not cracking this.
And so, someone that has been through multiple shrines in the aspect can become a commander, basically, because they know battle in multiple different ways. Those are called autarchs.
Yeah, autarchs. Autarch.
They're the generals of the battlefield, and a seer that gets stuck is a farseer, and they're the spiritual leaders of the entire culture. So their whole thing is the preservation of their species. And because they can see the future, sort of, they can kind of see what decisions lead where.
Sometimes they're wrong.
They look at decisions. They look at, like, okay, we're going to be passing by this system. And there's humans in this system. How close should we pass by this? Like, what should we do? Our trajectory is going this way. We need to either go out now, turn now, or we're going to get really close to this. And the seers all get together, they consult the Infinity Circuit, the Farseers lead this whole ritual, and they look to see which decision keeps the most Eldar alive.
Yeah, and I guess
it's very Dune.
Yeah. And really the only like all the craft worlds kind of do their own thing, but like they're all the craft world Eldar seem to be like unified in just the simple goal of like we're just trying not to go extinct, and death is everywhere in the universe. What's the safest way to keep existing here?
Now, check this out though. So they
Except
see...
for BL10. BL10 wants to kick ass.
Yeah, they do. So let's say they see let's not go off. We're going to pass by this human system because chaos is festering on one of those worlds. And if we let that chaos fester, that world will fall and those chaos forces will attack our craft world. So we need to go there now.
It could be thousands of years from now, but it will happen.
Yeah. If we can stop that chaos now, then we can stop a whole bunch of Eldar dying in 1,000 years. So all of a sudden, peaceful planet down there is doing its own thing, and an Eldar invasion happens. Just a strike force comes down, kills a whole bunch of people, very strategically in areas, detonates buildings, all this stuff, and then disappears.
Very surgical.
Right? And then they go, like, the humans like, what the fuck? We need to go find them and fight them and do all this stuff. And then as they're gearing up and doing all this stuff, Eldar come in and help lead orcs over to stop the humans from following them.
Yeah.
Then, the humans are fighting the orcs. Later on, down this whole war path, now the orcs are fighting the humans because the Eldar led them here to protect them.
Defend the humans.
Then the Eldar will defend the humans because they can't let the orcs win because that still makes it all worse. So,
and it's not even like contradicting, even though it's just like no, like they can't do this well. Okay, so because they just all see the outcomes of all these things.
Yeah, like the whole shtick with them from the humans' perspective is never deal with Eldar. They will always stab you in the back. They don't understand. They don't understand why the Eldar are doing this. The Eldar don't explain themselves to them. but it's like they're duplicitous, like
Right. I always liked a lot of these stories from the perspective of the Imperium is that they often have a hard time, like they don't know there's a difference between Drukhari and Eldar because they're all just just strike out of nowhere.
Craftworld, Exodite, Drukhari, Harlequins.
Yeah.
There's so many different factions.
Harlequins are Eldar then.
Yeah.
It makes sense because
they're the cool bad boy.
They're the Inquisitor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like they're doing
I never saw it that way, but you're so right.
The Black Library is just to learn about chaos to destroy it.
That searching for balance, like the tipping to survive, is one of the reasons that like the Greeks had the fates were 3 people because one person shouldn't be able to manipulate. Plus, nobody would be able to do that. Like you wouldn't be able to juggle that much stuff on your own. So the fates saw 3 different things.
Yeah, the Craftworld are the ones that are like, hey, like we've gone too much into excess. We destroyed our whole empire because we gave into our desires and all this stuff. So like they live like monks, right? But then there's the Drukhari, the Dark Eldar. When they were in the empire, right? They were like the lords and ladies of the empire of the Eldar before it fell, and all of a sudden all these doomsayers started going like, we're gonna like everything's gonna die. The warp is going to eat us all, this and that. And they started building these colony ships and leaving. And these people were like, hold on. You know, they may be right, but I really, really like what I'm doing. So I'm just going to move all my shit into the webway. And I'm going to live there for the rest of my life.
And the webway's like the secret Eldar, secret tunnels through the warp.
Secret tunnel.
That the demons
can't get in. Like the demons can't even get in there.
You
so
just live there in this.
They made a city in there.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're just gonna do that. We're gonna keep doing exactly what we're doing, living in excess, and we're gonna go there.
Well, there's more to it than that too, and you know what? Next time we paint, if we're gonna do some painting here, was that Adeptus Ridiculous podcast on the Drukhari is so good. They get
such on the background.
Yeah. They get such cool detail about them.
Speaking of which, because I could go on Eldar forever.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to it.
That's what I'm saying. We've been doing this for 2.5 hours, and it's really just been lore.
Because the Drukhari are effectively immortal because they devour life and souls and people stuff, but they also can rebuild themselves. Like as long as they can get back to Komara, their body, they can just bring themselves back to life. That's how far their technology has gone.
That sounds bad.
Yeah. and they have the incentive about like if we keep doing this crazy stuff, that holds Slaanesh off a base. Slaanesh like, I like what you Drukhari are doing. Please me in these ways, and I'll be. I think that's how it goes. That's so much.
Maybe not. But the one thing is that, and I will hold this to be true in my headcanon and any game I play. But it even says in one of the editions of the Dark Eldar would rule the galaxy if they wanted to, but they don't.
They don't want it.
See, the only thing, like the reason the Imperium does what it does is because it needs food and population and resources. The Dark Eldar are in post-scarcity. They don't need any of that shit.
Yeah.
The only thing they really need is the other races to steal and devour their souls.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
So, like, even in the 40k rules, the take and hold objectives, like the wars, the battle, not the wars, the missions, when you're setting up the tabletop, they don't do any of those. They don't go and hold territory or anything. That's not what they're about. Their whole thing is to run in, knock a whole bunch of people down, wrap them up in chains, and get out with them as fast as possible. That's the only reason they're in real space. And it's just a thrill seeking for them because they can make things. They can make things to go do that.
They're all super high.
Right?
While they
it's
do
like one of those,
like,
if you can do it real easily, then you want to do it the hard
yeah,
way.
you just and it's so exciting to them, and they know they can't die. Oh, I fell. You just drag my body back.
That's super true.
And
if I knew I couldn't die,
that's why they have
fucking around.
Like they have they have a whole like cult around like gladiatorial fighting. You don't want this? I got beer.
Can I have a water?
Beer.
Beer. I mean, if you're not
Seems
going
like
to drink
just-
it, I will. But if you want it, take it. And
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
Red Bull.
Yeah, I know. I want it.
So,
Being nice.
their technology is at the level where they can create or destroy suns.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
move them.
Yeah,
Like, I don't like this sun here. let's move it over here in the galaxy.
Yeah, these are people that could just like rummage, just like, oh yeah, here's my quantum butter knife that could like spread any sauce at a molecular level through or subatomic level.
Speaking of that Hoberman sphere and stuff, a Dyson sphere is one of the things that was theorized. So basically, it's a large enough superstructure. You could put it over a sun, and that would be the reason we're not seeing any populated planets and stuff like that, because they've already developed technology enough to like
to encase
their sun.
Yeah, like a Dyson sphere.
They did.
Yeah,
actually, they brought a sun into the webway with them.
Yeah, like that sort of thing.
So
like the science is
that is my whole thing. Is like everyone argues who's the strongest faction, and mine is still.
Oh. You'd have been like,
God, that was close. Can you imagine if I drink water?
Yeah. Mine is the Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar. Everyone exists in the galaxy simply because the Dark Eldar don't give a shit that they exist, and that includes Tyranid. Because in one of their stories, they've already shown that the whatchamacallit, the homunculi, have already figured out how to take over Tyranid.
Bullshit.
There's an entire story
Fake news.
where the Tau do that, and now there's a homunculus out there that has his own Tyranid brood that works for him.
And this is the first time I've ever heard the plural of homunculus.
End the stream. End the stream.
Yes.
In the stream. I don't want to talk anymore.
They would figure out something that would ravage the Tyranids so fast if they needed to get rid of them. And they will.
Just in case.
They will.
I mean, I guess they'd have to, right?
Because
unless someone else fucks them up first.
Because they're eating all of what they eat. You can't kill all the people.
Oh,
I need to feed on the people.
I could also see homunculi saying like, what can we do with their biomass?
Right, and that's what that homunculus did. He was using Tau to capture Tyranids. Then he learned how to manipulate Tyranids so he could make better grotesques.
Yeah, that is in the Dark Eldar entry for the grotesque. Yeah. That story with the Tau is on that page. Golly.
Anyway. Back to this game. Any of the other explorers we want to know about?
I mean, I get the idea behind some of them. I think if we start playing, then I'll have a little more specific questions. Like, I do want to know, like, gameplay for the twins. Do you move them as a unit? That sort of thing.
They can separate. No, like, that was, like, the background. We can now look at rules and see cool shit. The cool thing about the twins is they can take up space together without counting as two models. So they can sit in the same space and count as one model.
Oh, which means someone else can still.
So two normal-sized people can be in a space like this. No, he's large.
So they could basically have three people.
Yeah, so it's like normally like this. This is fine, but both of those can be in the same hex as one other person.
Oh, Games Workshop, I love you. Like, this has a little tiny grappling hook gun on it, and the lead is coming off of the hook into the gun too. This little teeny tiny piece is the rope for the fucking grappling hook. I love it.
And so, cool things about them. So one has a sniper rifle, one has a grapple gun. They both do different things. Now the sniper rifle ignores cover and always hits crits if it hits at all.
Nice.
So very cool. But the coolest thing about that is when you're trying to find if something. Oh no, it doesn't always ignore cover. That's the Eldars. Their thing about cover is when you're trying to figure out cover from the sniper, you can use either model's line of sight.
Oh wow!
So if you have the other guy up and around, and he can see clear, clear shot at the other one, he's feeding data to the other guy to shoot.
Damn.
So very cool
stuff. You shoot
stuff.
through like walls and stuff like that.
You can't shoot through the red walls,
but
these
like,
white they ignore.
Yeah, it's all that's dope. And then the grappling hook, I'm sure, has some stuff like that dwarf.
Yeah, grab the treasure.
Grab the treasure.
Shoot sharper, naturally.
Maybe you can use it for movement.
Grappling hook.
Get to places where you can spot better.
When moving with Rouse, do not count any vertical distance he moves. Moves against the total he can move that turn. I.e., moving vertical is free for this model.
Oh shit! So is there going to be pieces of the board that are like, this is level 1, this is level 2, this is level 3?
So you should you could stack something and make
stack,
yeah.
Oh, is there something to stack on?
Well, like there's like these things, and there's stuff that will tell you that you put these on top of
And
other.
that denotes an elevated.
Oh, I see. Yeah, they're like cubes and things. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting.
Find the best spot. Instead of deploying Ryan and Rouse normally, you can wait until both armies are fully deployed and then place them anywhere on the battlefield. Oh, this is for 40k.
Oh.
Ha.
Oh.
That's
Oh,
why
so
the
like,
movement.
they're
the army game.
regular
So when you have like
40K.
terrain and
Yeah.
stuff like that, they could just.
There we go. That's why I was like, there's elevation.
Now that hit me so weird too. I'm like, I don't think this game's
I don't
like that.
recall vertical spaces.
Well, I thought you meant like spacer, like there's going to be something that you do this.
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
multiple- That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
3D chess or something, you know?
Grapple hook, 6+
Is that Trump
action.
chess now at 40 Trump?
Pick a hex that is visible to Rouse and does not have any explorers or hostiles in it, and then place Rouse in that
I
hex.
knew it was a mobility thing, yeah.
Anywhere on the
So
battlefield.
you could spot better.
And it's a 6+, so it's really hard to do,
Yeah.
but he just moves anywhere you can see.
Yeah, but Glorio's stuff is all 6+. He still got a lot of it.
Double team,
Yeah.
2+. One Rattling Twin takes a move action or a stub pistol weapon action. Then the other Rattling Twin takes a move action or a stub pistol weapon action. So you basically get 2 shots or a shot and a move.
Yeah.
Or 2 moves. The sniper rifle is 4+, high impact. If an attack with a sniper rifle inflicts a wound or grievous wound on a target, after cover has been taken into account, place 1 additional wound counter on the target. So double wounds for a sniper rifle. That's nice. Special rules, the twins, see page 15 of the rulebook for how to make the activation rules for them. It's just 1 roll. Like,
Man, I don't want to play the twins, but that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Secret agenda. Have the Lost Volume Discovery card. If Ryan and Rouse have the Lost Volume at the start of an expedition, they start the expedition inspired. So it's a discovery you can find. Alright. Okay. Who else do you want to know about? I want to know about
Well,
Janice.
Well, really, I just wanted to know about just the gameplay of them. I wasn't super curious about playing them as a unit. I was just curious about the movement and rules and stuff. Because the rest of the stuff, I'm going to assume, is fairly close to the other Warhammer Quest games, right?
Yeah. So Janice Drake. His weapons are a pistol and rapier with a 1+. It has range, so it's the same damage for either weapon, right? So you can use it at melee range. You're using the sword, and the pistol has range out to 4+.
But you can still use it close, right?
Right. So like pistol and rapier is a 1+. You can always attack with him, and it's at any range. It's melee all the way out. And then he also has a flurry of attacks on a 4+ or a 6+. Flurry of attacks when taking the flurry of attacks weapon action, Janice Drake can attack twice for a cost of 4+, or 3 times for a cost of 6+. Carry out each attack one at a time, one after the other. The target chosen for the second and third attacks must either be the same target as the target of the previous attack, or in the same hex or adjacent hex as the target of the previous attack.
Gotcha.
So it's in an area.
Continue killing something until it's dead, and if you have any attacks left over, you move them. Yeah,
and you can also just hit 3 people as long as they're next to each other.
He is like a pro Glario.
Here it is.
There's probably a big
Strategist.
Glario. Was it?
Or his
Strategist
Is his
in the.
pipe in his equipment?
I don't know.
No.
Strategist. In the first turn of combat, Janice Drake can perform a gambit without activation dice being spent.
Ooh.
Swashbuckler.
Good, man.
If a defense roll for Janice Drake is a critical success and the attacker is in an adjacent hex, he can immediately take a pistol and rapier weapon action without having to spend an activation
Oh,
dice.
baby.
That's pretty cool.
He's the man. God damn it.
He's just a space Chad, man. here's this giant robot made of power armor, I'm sure, and like with a big old minigun and stuff like that. But this guy could just get the rolls and just pop off.
He's literally wearing a spiked tiger fur and smoking a pipe on this fortress. Like, let's do this. You know, like, what the fuck?
Bam, 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 bam. Slice.
I got dinner plans.
And
Get done
if
with
he
this.
is inspired, he gets to gambit every turn.
Yeah, I think that probably made the decision there.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, the background, like this guy is dope, and I like playing, like the idea of playing another religious character in the future. I think is very interesting. Man, that's badass, because Swashbuckler is
Yeah.
like my fucking archetype.
I'm actually
like,
pretty. So my favorite characters were Octario, Octrin, and the priestess, Cleona.
Cleona
Yeah,
turned out being super
yeah,
helpful.
and I love the aesthetics of Octrin. It was just so obvious that.
Alright, read the space
But,
quotes.
so I'm curious what this guy does.
Power Maul and Las Pistol. So he's got a Las Pistol, again, goes out to range.
Yeah.
At close range, he gets the D12 because the Power Maul.
Right.
But then it goes just to the D8 and D6 at long range because of the Las Pistol. Then he also has a servo stubber. So that little servo skull has a stub gun in it. And it's shooting for him.
Gotcha.
3+, 5+.
It's an activation die cost.
Yep.
So.
It can't hit melee. Has to
Okay.
shoot range. Sustained fire. When taking a servo stubber weapon action, Thaddeus the Purifier can attack once at the cost of 3+, or twice for the cost of 5+. Carry out each attack one at a time, same rules as before. So, multi-attack seem to be the thing here.
Yeah.
Unique actions. Rallying Cry. Remove one wound counter from Thaddeus the Purifier and all other explorers in the same hex or an adjacent hex to him.
Ooh.
Same
That's-
and Jason?
yeah.
Damn, you could heal the whole team.
Yeah.
That's
That's
pretty
awesome.
dope.
Now,
Yeah.
so
To
far,
me.
like Thaddeus and Ryan and Rouse, their secret agendas have been to have a discovery card, which is cool, but like you can't really do that the first game, right? You have to find it and get it to them. But after that, that means you're like once you have that
Inspired
gear
forever,
card, you're
yeah.
inspired forever. But him, he's got the one that can happen in the expeditions.
Oh.
During an expedition, slay a rogue psyker, and he switches.
And what is this dude's name? Janice's.
Janus
I keep wanting to call him Glorio. He's just Glorio.
Is have the Empyrean chronometer discovery card. Janus has the Empyrean chronometer to start the expedition. He starts
Is it the chronometer?
chronometer.
Yeah. This might be. I like the support.
Well, let's hear. What was your other choice then? If you weren't Space
I'm
Pope?
also curious about the navigator.
All right, because I was going to say because this guy and this guy were my two choices. We've
Yeah,
learned about
yeah.
him now, and I think this is
I
still
am
going to
the-
be.
Oh, did you already? I didn't realize you.
No.
recorded this
I wanted
guy.
to know, but like if you want to
Oh,
play,
we didn't go over the
absolutely,
rules.
because this,
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to hear their backstories.
Yeah,
and I liked
yeah.
both of these characters were
I'm
cool,
like,
but
where-
fuck, man, that.
Oh, where's the Eldar? Where's the other ones? We played them, so they're in their packs.
Oh.
And the Kroot has his death token in his.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah. Got
These-
torn apart by these
I will
guys.
say-
Actually, I think it was the Urgles.
These board games are fun because they've got a goddamn token for everything.
Yeah.
Every status effect, every damage, every.
And first of all, what kind is he? A nomad? Is he? What's his story?
All right.
So you want to learn? Let's just fuck it. Let's just learn about him and then.
Esper Locarno, an agent of House Locarno, one of the great Navigate houses. Espen Locarno is a sanctioned imperial mutant, like all of his kind. Espen has a third eye capable of both seeing into the Imperium and of unleashing devastating warp energy at those upon whom its gaze is cast. When news of the Blackstone Fortress reached House Locarno, Espen was sent to investigate, for it was believed by the house's legisters that among the wreckage subsumed by the fortress there could be cargoes from millennia past for which the Navigator House still held contracts.
Okay. Yeah.
Furthermore, Espen hopes to obtain the time and space-bending technologies of the Blackstone Fortress itself, which are greatly desired by the star-faring
Yeah.
Navigator.
Okay. So pretty run-of-the-mill navigator sounds like.
nothing
Yeah.
cool, really.
Yeah.
All right.
But the navigators are just like we did the cool for you.
Dude, his cloak would be so much fun to paint.
I know. I was looking at that too.
Force
other
Orb
people's.
Cane, 4+, just melee, D12. That is pretty powerful.
Well, that's good.
So he has a melee weapon.
Jesus, man.
His ranged weapon is the third eye. So
Yeah.
and that's a 1+. He just
Look into the
does
warp.
that. It's weak close. It's weak far, but at that mid range, it's the D12. So it's D8, D12, D8.
Interesting.
range.
Yeah, that is cool.
So, but at close range, you might as well use your Force Orb because it's a D12.
Yeah.
So, unique actions: Force Barrier, 5+. This action can be taken once per activation phase. Place the force barrier marker beside Esper and Locarno. While the force barrier marker is beside Espern, he and any explorer in the same hex of him are defense value D12. If they are already defense value D12, they become defense value 2D12. Remove the force barrier marker the next time Espern is activated.
He raises shields. That's cool.
That is awesome.
Can other people use it as cover? Or
Yeah,
is it just
it's
for
everyone in the
anyone
same
in
hex.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Mental,
Go support the gunner.
Shield, yeah.
mental command 6+. You can move a hostile 1 hex. All of the rules for making a move as part of a move action apply. So you can just move an enemy 1 hex.
Ooh,
Command them run.
fun.
That because we could put them in. Remember, we could put them in front of like doors to block.
Yeah,
reinforcements and
that's
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Special rules psychic. After the destiny roll is made, Esper and Locarno can move 1 discarded destiny dice to the available destiny dice section of the precipice board.
See, I like that about
That's
Cleona,
fucking
man.
hardcore.
Yeah.
Those are both really cool.
Yeah.
Like
Healing is pretty
Healing is
important.
really cool, but also just having the extra.
Yeah.
so, Galen, if you're still awake, it sounds like you're going to play Thaddeus for us. And so I'm going to be Janice. He's going to be the navigator. You're
Yeah.
a giant robot, and you can be the space pope. You already killed the Kroot, so you can't play him.
Which is pretty. You know what's funny? Galen
It's
actually.
way cooler than the.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I need to
the
buy the card sleeves for all these.
And then not let me put them in backwards. So for the initiative cards, I put 2 of them in upside down, so the opening's on the bottom. I didn't even notice. And we were laying them out one day, and Dave was doing the initiative tracker because we were switching jobs, and he's like, "What? How?" Like, I was like, "What?" He's like, "This is in upside down." I'm like, "I didn't." Oh, well, let's fix it. All right, leave
Trying to get
it.
it out.
It's like it's fucking in there now. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
stupid. And just the like, at first I was like, "What does it fucking matter?" Then I was like, "You know, I would have if I had known." And then it bugged me for the rest of the time we played the game.
So there's this, which I'm guessing is the legacy cards.
So what I'm kind of geeking out here is that when you start playing them, they accumulate things, they get experience, they get equipment and stuff like that, and they go into these little folders so that we can keep it all together. But this one came with its own like logoed Blackstone Fortress with a clear front, so we can actually see the character cards. We can spill stuff on them.
So
It's cool as hell.
this, and this is something that like in Curse City, we had that fear and influence track, right? And if any of those got to the end, got to the top, we lose. Just lose. This game, to make it so that we have something that we're working towards, they have this thing called the Legacy deck. The Legacy deck is, I don't know how many cards deep, but after every expedition, we draw a Legacy card. And that Legacy card may be permanent and add something to our games. And that's how we get, like, we level up type of things. Like, for example, when we first start this game, the only enemies are the Traitor Guardsmen, the Urguls, and the...
Beastmen?
No, the
The
cultists,
flatulence,
right?
Yeah.
And the Spindle Drones. As we go through the Legacy, it could be that we get something like this, New Threat. New Threat says, new threat, Rogue Psychers. Now the Rogue Psychers are in the deck. And we can get them. We're supposed to take that card and add it.
Yeah, that's like when the Vargas gear appears at the end of the quest tracker, and you're like, "Ah, shit! Like he's coming up in 4 turns. You can watch it happen."
And so that's how it progresses, and we get the more enemies.
I see.
But also how, like, we only have 4 legacy cards left, and we just found the clue for the 4th stronghold. We don't have any time to fuck around. We gotta defeat the stronghold and go find the vault.
Right. Yeah.
It's cool. So it really does time down. Like,
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
We ended up getting real pro at beating that Vargas gear, though. We got real good at
Just shoot him a lot.
The Vargas gear's here. So what? This is to me.
Oh man, well I'm excited to play.
Yeah. And that was fun. I think that was an adequate amount of lore.
Mm-hmm.
I think learning what a Blackstone Fortress was really cool for me, and learning some of the ins and outs about like the origin of it and like why it's important. That was really cool. I liked seeing some of the similarities and some of the differences. So since we've already played a Warhammer Quest game, when he was reading the abilities for the characters, we're all like, oh, because we know what activation dice means and what this is and stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. And you said you do want to paint main characters.
Yeah, like at least
I mean, if you guys want to paint whatever you want.
All right. This is. I'm going to need my insane detail to get this mustache.
Yeah, smoke on the pipe.
That's going to be fun. That's just white and then a drop of black. Like make a big pool of the white and paint it on. Or sorry, pick the big pool of white, or a little pool of white and a tiny pool of black, and then you just put a little bit of a dot of black. That's the underside, and then you put more white for that.
Hearing about your crafty shit is always like, oh, it's easy. I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take this and mix it with that and put this down in a dollop and layer it and do this. Like, oh yeah, that sounds totally easy. You should totally do that. And then you like show us with like your werewolf. It's like, that's fucking amazing. I put mud on all my.
That was fun.
What?
So
that's not normal.
What's not normal? The mud is not normal.
Like putting mud on characters, like real layered mud. Look at anyone that paints a team, right? They just paint them. You put mud on your dudes.
So, what are you?
That's awesome.
Oh, it's awesome. I thought you were saying like it's weird. I was like, I just thought it was.
That's way above and beyond. Like, it's awesome.
It's amazing.
Those guys turned out being a lot of fun.
Before we leave, Wiley, what are you thinking of? Who are you thinking of playing?
I mean, I'll end up playing whoever's left.
Don't shut up. Don't end up. You're playing.
I mean, there's going to be. There's a lot to pick from.
And you were already thinking Ogre Robot, right? Like that's what you wanted because that's what we.
This was a lot of fun to play.
He is. So he's got the assault cannon, which is on a 1, 4, or 6+. It can't shoot close. And it does twice for 1, 3 times for 4+, and carry out 3 times. It's 1, 2, 3. Sorry, not 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. What?
Activation dice 1.
It's either a 1,
a 2, a 3. You get 3 different effects.
It's on a 1+, 4+, or 6+.
Okay.
He makes 1 attack, 2 attacks for 3 attacks.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because you just empty hallways with this guy.
Can you
Carry out
imagine having
each attack.
3 6s and you're just like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
There's like fucking 9 attacks coming out of the ogre arm.
Mobile Bastion. Reroll failed defense rolls for him.
Fucking killing everything. Sorry.
He never benefits from cover. I remember that rule.
Yeah.
He's
But
pretty big.
he re-rolls all of his defense rolls. So he gets 2 tries.
He's really big, but he's made out of metal.
Repair systems. If a vitality roll for U20 or 25 is a critical success, you can turn 1 grievous wound counter to its wound side instead of removing 2 wounds. So he's the only person that can heal grievous wounds. He totally is the ogre.
Yeah.
Secret agenda. During expedition, slay a spindle drone with a power claw weapon action.
Cool.
He needs to get up and crush it.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of you being like commence birthday festive.
No, mine's going to be like, it is the annual observance of my manufacturing date.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is
My
Wednesday.
carapace has rotated around the sun exactly 1 time, 3 times in a row.
And we play on Wednesday. Wednesday is maintenance day. It's
Wednesday is maintenance day. Today is maintenance. You require maintenance.
Somewhere
Maintenance
down
complete.
here is the dead envelope that has the Kroot in it, because I can't find them.
Oh, okay. But he was like a sniper, so I'm kind of curious. I remember he had, ironically, more survivability than these 2 guys.
Yeah.
Because Kroots regenerate, like they.
Yeah, he can. I think it's if he melee something, he can regenerate.
Yeah, that might be it because he takes a little bite.
I just like the Kroot like physically, just because they look like mixtures of a lot of old, like common.
Yeah,
things.
they
like
kinda
the
seem
spiked
like
dreadlock, the backwards ankle.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this looks like every other sci-fi alien that's out there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It's one out of like 1,000 models. I'm like, oh, this one.
The other
Games Workshop.
The other big Xenos race that ends up joining the Tau Empire a lot are the Vespids, which are just fucking Watto from
but they're more hornet-like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cooler though.
Yeah.
You just want to make them talk like this. A long-range attack, a 6+.
Oh baby.
Oh, there he is.
That's the Zote.
The Zote. I want to paint the Zote.
You've got all your lizard man paints.
Yeah.
You could just make him a Star Slammer.
Yeah.
40K Star Slammer. Oh, fuck. That thing is here. I thought he was playing Blood Bowl. The season's over. Fuck. This is going to be cool. I really enjoyed Curse City, and I think this is going to be even better.
Get all of the miniatures out.
Okay.
I need to go through the bathroom. Woo!
What I was trying to say about that smoke was to make a pile of white and pull some away and a drop of black. That way you can keep adding white. You lighten up with smoke. Start dark and go out whiter. And then you always add a little more dark at the tip.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. Just a dark tip. Or you could even change the color of the smoke to decide what it is he's smoking. Definitely wasn't down there.
Alright.
Is it under?
Huh. Alright.
Well, should I start taking this out while we dig?
Leaving? Is it?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you were putting everything away. I didn't know if that's
No.
what you... Oh, okay.
Right.
Can we lift it up here? Maybe it's down.
Yeah, I'll go through all of this in a second. Whoop.
Oh, I do want to look at this. Sidetracked.
Ships. Read that loud.
So, the Traveler, Facilities Mode, Summon Aid, roll the Blackstone dice. You can re-roll the dice if the Explorer using this facility is Esperin. On a 16+, pick a dead Explorer, or remove the Mortis card from that Explorer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so Esperin Lorcano's ship can just bring you back to life.
That's ridiculous.
And then when you're on the fortress, the support is Warp Cloud Generator. Once per expedition, an Explorer can take the Warp Cloud Generator action during their activation. The activation cost changes, for Esperin. It's always going to be 1/6, it looks like, if they are in the episode. If the action is taken for the rest of the turn, Explorers are not visible to hostiles unless the hostile is adjacent to the Explorer.
Damn.
So
Invisibility.
Esperin, the navigator, his facilities on his ship will bring people back to life if you've been killed.
Oh.
And then his support while you're in the mission, everyone's invisible.
Ooh.
Period.
Dude, the navigators know how to. They have like different kinds of like clans, and like some of them are. That sounds like some nomad stuff right there.
Annalyn Shadow Guide, that's the Eldar. This is her steed of Mathurir. Its facilities when you're in the Precipice, Labyrinth, Decryptor. The roll the Blackstone dice, you can re-roll the dice with the Explorer using this is Ashlyn. Yeah.
Oof.
Annalyn, sorry. If the roll is higher than the number of cue cards that Explorer has, clue cards, nothing happens. If the roll is less than or equal to the number of clue cards that Explorer has, they receive another clue card. Support Crystal Scanning Matrix when you're in Blackstone Fortress. Once per expedition, an Explorer can take the Crystal Scanning Matrix action during their activation. I'm going to skip all of the 1+ and 6+. If the action is taken, pick a hostile group that has not been activated this turn and swap their initiative card with the card at the end of the combat tracker. You go last.
Yep.
Cool.
So the Kroot has a Kroot rifle and a pistol and rifle blade. So he has the blade on the end of his rifle. That's his other weapon. Booby trap. 6+. Place a booby trap marker in a hex that is adjacent and visible to Dayak Grek. That does not contain any explorers, hostiles, or other blah, blah, blah. I remember that kind of being sucky. If an explorer or hostile enters a hex with a booby trap marker, their activation ends. They suffer 1 grievous wound and are stunned. The booby trap marker is then removed. A maximum of 3 booby trap markers can be placed in each combat. So it's really really powerful, but like you have to anticipate where things going. So mainly it's probably just I put this down in front of me because I know the enemies are going to come run right at me. Absorb traits. Dyak does not have a secret agenda. Instead, whenever you make an inspiration roll for Dyak, double the wounds value of all hostiles that he slew during that activation. So, kind of like the ogre.
Yeah.
Fieldcraft. His defense die is a d12 if he is in cover from the attacking hostile. Tracker. After the battlefield has been set up and before the first turn of combat begins, Dyak can take a move action and can then take a booby trap action. He does not have to be activated and no activation dice were spent. So he gets to run out of the elevator and throw down a booby trap immediately. Pretty cool, but...
Yeah, I see why he died.
Yeah, I see why he died as well.
So the only one we didn't really hear about, like, mechanically would be, like, these two. But this guy...
We talked about him. We talked about the two guys. They have the grappling hook and the...
No,
these two. The Eldar.
I'm sure it's a lot like the Wood Elf, I'm sure. Very
Long
fast.
rifle, power blade. I mean, all... Whoa. Okay, that threw me off.
Oh.
She is very fast, but because you're moving hexes and not squares, the movement is much different.
Yeah.
Her move is 3.
Oh.
Most people's move is 2.
I see.
Alright, chameleon line. She has a long rifle and a power blade. The long rifle has a ranger scope, so if she spends a 4+ to shoot her rifle, it is treated as an aimed weapon action, and a failed result for that weapon action can be re-rolled. Aimed weapon means that cover doesn't apply. Chameleon cloak. This action cannot be taken if there are hostiles adjacent and visible to Emmeline. Place the chameleon cloak marker beside Emmeline. While the chameleon cloak marker is beside Emmeline, she has defense of D12. Remove the marker when Emmeline takes a move action or a hostile moves into the hex next to her.
It is so hard to say Emmeline. I messed it up reading the ship card too, like 3 times.
Phase Crystal. Take a move action with Emmeline. She can move through walls and enter obstructed hexes as part of the move.
Whoa.
As long as she does not end the move in an obstructed hex. In addition, she does not have to halt the move when she enters a hex adjacent to a hostile. So she never gets stuck into combat.
It's like a planeswalker rogue.
Yeah.
So, also, I think there was someone that was talking about her, like, there's a room with a clue or a objective marker, and they just ran her like through the wall next to it, grabbed it, and ran her back. Like,
yeah, she's fast.
Yeah, that's her.
Sick.
So, I gotta say, like, 12-year-old me is like dying inside. These are so cool. Dude, ships, like, all the stuff. So this is the Clarion, which is Thaddeus' ship, which is also the conspirator that got the Count of Monte Cristo thrown into the Isla de Muerte. Excruciation. So when it's facilities excruciation chamber, roll the Blackstone dice. You can re-roll the dice to Explorer as Thaddeus. On a 1, the Explorer must discard a clue card if they have one. On a 2 to 15, nothing happens, but on a 16, you receive a clue card. Not very good. Not very good. But the support is badass because the support is an infrared log hailer. So once per expedition at the start of the gambit step of the initiative phase, the leader can use the Clarion's infrared Laud hailers. If they do so in that gambit step, each explorer can perform a gambit without having to spend an activation. Everybody gets a gambit. Long hauler gamma 3 Esset. Haha, you didn't think I was going to know the double S from German, but that's the word. It's an Esset. Scrap hanger facility. So roll the Blackstone dice. You can re-roll the dice if you are UR025. So this is the robot's ship. Oh, sorry, Rain or Rouse. Is UR025 or Rain or Rouse. So these
they're
guys,
both
yeah,
in
it's
the same
sorry,
vehicle.
Rain and Rouse, yeah, so it's everybody. On a 1, the explorer is killed in the same manner as if they had failed a recovery roll. On a 2 to 10, nothing happens. On an 11 plus, the explorer receives a randomly chosen Archaeotech card from the Discovery deck. So you'll get whatever you want, but if it's a 1, it blows up in your face. Their support is the Cogitator Bank. Once per expedition, after making the Destiny roll, the leader can use Long Hauler Gamma 3 betas. Oh, that's beta, not Esset, damn it. It's no beta.
Isn't that the... No,
That's beta.
Is that beta? Because the Esset in the German language looks exactly the same.
It looks like a B, yeah.
It looks like they used the Esset for the beta, to me. Anyway, Gamma 3 betas, Cogitator Bank. If they do so, duplicate rolls are not discarded, so this keeps our
all of the
what is that
Destiny
thing called?
dice.
Destiny dice. All 5 Destiny dice are placed in the available Destiny dice.
Damn.
After marking Destiny, making the Destiny roll leader, so once per expedition. So you can only do it once, though.
Yeah. Each of those things
yeah.
is once.
So the Krav Chateau, which I'm assuming is the crude ship.
Sounds
Most
like
likely.
The support is the Target Illuminator. Oh, that's the support, excuse me. I want to do the facilities first. Combat Pit. Find the isolated challenge card. Resolve the challenge using the Explorer. If the challenge is resolved without the Explorer being taken out of action, they receive a discovery card. In addition, the Explorer starts their next expedition with 1 inspiration point. So this is basically like win a battle.
It's a fighting pit.
Yeah,
he has a fighting pit on his vessel.
Get some inspiration. Get in there and kill that thing, and then let's get started. All right. Its support is Target Illuminator. Once per expedition, an Explorer can take a target tracking action during their activation. The action has a cost of 1, 6. The action allows the Explorer to take a weapon action without spending any activation dice.
Yeah, I think
I already read that.
that was exactly
that's
what
one
I
of those
read.
guys when you read. And then there's the Vanguard, I think you read too, so Warp Cloud Generator, did I read this one? Yes, so that's all of the ships, and you read them. Cool as hell. Little pictures, little explanations, double support and facilities. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I was into when I was a kid. Like, descriptions of ships like that. Craft World that has all the different labels all over the place. Dude, I would draw, like, the simplest things. Like, I would draw, like, just, like, Santa Claus, and then I'd have an arrow pointing to, like, the brim of his hat, and then the actual red of his hat, and then the whole, like, the ball of his hat, and explain what each thing is. Like, you know, Easter Bunny tail, the red is because, you know, holly berries, and it's made from the juice, and it's stained, and then I'm like, this is, you know, polar bear fur.
Yeah, I used to do that stuff with, like, Warcraft 2 characters.
Yeah.
And stuff, the gear they wore.
And then I would put my own little asterisks, and then like there'd be references underneath, and you could like read more because I didn't have room.
Would you like to know more?
Yeah, exactly. God. Oh, you did that for us when we were playing Shadowrun the first time, and you gave us some fake news things. Yep. And I happened to be in the grocery store, and I was like 10th in line, and I was reading it, and I was like, expand. Like I put it in the little thing, it was like expand on that one. And so you told me more, and then you ended up jumping and being like, oh yeah, expand, and then Mark did it too. Like, everyone was like, oh, we didn't know we could do this, and I was like, I just was checking. I didn't know you were going to do it for us.
For my Shadowrun game, I made a Facebook page, and they were all a part of it. And so I'd post news, and also they'd have messages back and forth to each other.
My character journaled it and stuff.
That's good shit.
Yeah,
man.
like I had a journal that was running because Key was real social, so like she was posting stuff that she was doing on there.
Because like a lot of the way we do Shadowrun would just be like a lot of times we're just kind of like next session is like when we're done casing a joint and stuff like that. So in the time between, we have like this this little internet space where we're just purely in character.
I remember he got mad at me because I did it. I did it on purpose, but I made an accidental journal post where I told all of you guys what I thought of you. Because I was just writing it down like, oh, I'm with these people now and they're doing this and they act this way and this person is be cuter, he would act different, all this stuff. And then I left it on the Facebook page for like 6 hours. And then Key was like, oh, fuck, and deleted it. Because that's what she would have done, would have been like, oh, I shouldn't have posted this. This was my journal, not my post. And he's like, hey, you can't delete that stuff. And then I didn't get it. We just started playing, and I was like, why is that important?
Because I need a copy as the GM. Because I have to know who remembers what. And
then he asked me, too, he's like, do you have a copy of it? And I was like, oh, fuck, that's why, right? And then that was kind of an eye-opening moment for me in an RPG with, like, you know, you need notes and stuff. And then because then we ended up playing games for, you know, a year and a half and shit. So it's like, you obviously need notes. Which, unfortunately, has become my job since I quit drinking. I remember when I first quit drinking, we were playing a game, and somebody asked, you asked a question, and I was like, oh, it was that guy's name, blah, 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 blah. And Dayton looked over and goes, is that what it's like to play games sober? And I was like, yeah.
Zotes.
Ooh, I already have 2 of the colors I need for Janice. I have Reichland Flesh Shade 2 for this one. So I have a Mephiston Red. I'm pretty sure I have a Caribird Crimson. Oh no, I have a Gene Stealer Flesh. And then Unger Flesh I have. I have Reichland Flesh. have the... No, I don't have those. Oh no, look at all these new colors I have to get.
You don't have to paint them exactly
I have
like
White
that.
Scar. Wait, I'm just telling myself
I don't think I want
I'm just fucking around. I'm just telling myself that I can go buy more paints. Just
I don't think I want him to be
You don't want
light blue.
You don't want pastel? You are 25? He sure looks like, I don't know, like a mix of like a Soviet era like astronaut suit, like an orange kind of
Cosmonaut.
Yeah, cosmonaut. There you go. Yeah. He looks like Baymax mixed with like a vibrator. Oh man, this too. Like, come on.
So
That's not intimidating at all.
so
the Urgle.
Yeah, I mean with that blue.
yeah,
and
looks like
it's-
a baboon.
Yeah, it's way too contrasted. Like they went overboard on that. I shouldn't have given this stuff. I need to get glasses.
Alright, so now I think we can probably
Oh, so that's right.
go out.
Well, thanks a lot for coming to this edition of the Wileyverse. Where normally on Wednesdays we play Blood Bowl. We do have one more coming up. We're not sure right now because of scheduling when that's going to happen, but we do have one more game to do on Wednesday to finish up our Spindle Cup season for the Wileyverse. But thank you to GT and Super Sad Squad for being here. I know that was a lot to kind of take. I think you guys are probably both gone by now, but awesome. Thank you guys very much for joining us. We are probably going to start playing Blackstone Fortress as soon as we are finished with our Blood Bowl game. So tonight was a really good introductory session. A lot of lore for me, and we appreciate you guys coming in. Oh, there you are. Hey, thanks, Super Sad Squad.
Me.
I want to say, thanks for coming down and listening. If you like what you saw, if you want to see any more, we have played some actual RPGs, and we do some other board games and do some other stuff. We've played some of the other Warhammer quests and some other things that are board and modular like this. You can click on the YouTube link down below. That'll take you to our Wileyverse YouTube page where you can see hundreds and hundreds of hours of other stuff that we've done. RPGs, Dungeons & Dragons, 40K, all kinds of stuff. Board games, one-shots. It's a lot of fun. Go check it out. We're also sponsored by Drive-Thru-RPG, and if you click on the link below, you can find a great site where you can purchase all of your rule books and source books on PDF and save yourself a whole lot of money. And if you use that link down below, we get a little bit of a kickback that we use to expand and upgrade the studio a little bit. We have some other stuff. You should too. We also have a great Wileyverse store down below where you can get, none of us is wearing it, of course, because this was an impromptu, but we have a great Wileyverse logo that we're really proud of, and we can get it on shirts and hats and bags and stickers and all kinds of cool stuff. So go check it out. You'll find something that you like there, socks or something. And it's worth it. In the same way that we get kickbacks for the Drive-Thru-RPG, we also get some money to upgrade and buy new games and stuff like that. So we appreciate your support. Speaking of support, GT, it's good to see you again. Super Sad Squad, thanks for coming down. Thanks for spending points. Thanks for making fun of us. GT had some really good puns tonight.
Yeah.
I waved my hand at one. I was just being a dick. That was pretty good too, because the Magnificent 7 was pretty fucking good. But thank you guys for coming down. We always play something on Wednesday around 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at the moment because we're in Arizona and we don't do any daylight savings time. On Sundays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we normally do some sort of long-term campaign, which currently was a 40K Orcs game called Wall Nessus, but because of scheduling issues, we haven't been able to play for 2 weeks. We're probably not going to get to play for another week or so. So maybe we'll have something on Sunday that's an in-between or something, or we might miss this week as well. So stay tuned. Keep us on your Twitch, notifications so you can see what's happening, and check out our Discords as well. If you're in the chat, we do have a public Discord now. Anything to add, fellas?
Looking forward to playing and getting killed, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to space.
Whatever that was.
Space!
Bye.
Bye.